Hello everybody, this is Monday night's Poker Night Live. I'm Nick Wealthall, bringing you 4 hours of no-limit hold'em action from the internet. All real players playing for real cash all the time on Poker Night Live, and we get to see all their cards, which is a hoot. With me tonight is Britain's foremost poker brain, James Browning.
Hi Nick.
Hi James.
Are you well, sir?
Yeah, you know I am.
You know, I'll tell you what, okay, we had dinner tonight. It was fun, it was great.
Yeah.
Oh, what a meal.
Let's not overstate the case.
It was a lovely meal.
It was a lovely meal, but between friends.
Okay.
Guys, we've got DMOB happy end of term feel, basically because I'm off for a month after tonight, so you'll excuse the... we're going to have choosing time halfway through. James is doing Buckaroo, I'm doing Sandpit. See how it works out. You lot, fuzzy felt, I know it. We've got the usual mix of tournament cash games. We've got a multi-table tournament for you. We've got Beat the Presenter. I'm going to play Beat the Presenter. Never thought we'd see the day. Mainly so James can rip me to shreds.
He likes it.
But it will be nothing without your contribution. Get involved in the show, boys and girls. This is your show. We will talk about whatever you want us to talk about, whatever your level of the game, whether this is the first time you've watched or the 257th time you've watched. Do get in touch. Here's how you do it. Text poker and your question to 84222. 84222. Or if you prefer to email, and many do I hear, poker@pokernightlive.co.uk is the email address. And you can visit the website if you like after the show, not during, because that's rude, isn't it? That's like texting during dinner or something. You can visit the website, interact on our forums, find out more about the show and all that good stuff. Lots of games on offer tonight, James.
Yes.
Take us around them.
Here comes the guideline, the guide.
Here comes some games.
It's taken a while, but we're there. It's red, it looks encouraging. It's a 50-cent cash game. One seat open there, a little space for something to just zip in.
Just sitting down now, actually.
And here we have, it's the long structure. That means that they start with 2,000 chips and the blinds go up every 12 hands. We're still on the first level. And what price is this? It's a $10 one. And there's one player being terminated already. And moving up in price, we're going up to a $20 sit and go.
Twice the price.
Here it is.
Half the fun.
It's a 10-20, that means it's the first level again, and we've got a full complement of players. Oh, let's have a look at this. We've got aces. He's hit the ace, he's got trip aces. What's he against? Nothing. Not too much worry there then.
Probably win that one then, I'd imagine.
I think Jack's going to have to pass this.
I knew it, you see. God, I'm brilliant at analysing poker.
And in this, the final table we're showing in our preview is the private Poker Night Live Private Members League.
Not as exciting as it sounds.
No. But we're going to be having a look at this during the first hour, and it's a $5 tournament, one add-on.
Yes. 38
Or
runners
one
in that.
buy-in.
We'll show you the final table later.
I think they start with 1,500 chips. How many runners?
38.
Oh.
Small but beautifully formed.
Oh, quality more than quantity.
But $300 added for a $5 buy-in, so these
Tell you
people are
what,
getting value.
The less people in the tournament when there's added money, the better it is for you.
That's right.
So whenever you spot a tournament where there's added money and there's not too many people there, get your name down quickly.
No, we're very excited because Kara Scott from Poker Night Live was going to play in it, but she didn't get in.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's that bit of excitement.
That's dampened the excitement a bit, really.
I know.
Isn't it?
Kara, play on the other TV table so that we can complement your play. I will, you probably won't. Now, exciting Poker Night Live news. We've got a cake. Now,
That is exciting.
I don't want to overstate the case. If you're new to the show and you don't know what this is all about, basically the viewers send us cakes all the time. All the time. We get 2 or 3 a day, so if you are new to the show, get on board and send us a cake immediately. Got this one here, little chocolate item. Going to be eating during the show. James, do you want some?
Not just yet, but it looks lovely.
Well, you will have some. That's from Pompey Fan. Thank you so much, Pompey Fan. Also sent us a lovely letter. I feel like Brian Johnson off the Test matches. Sent us a lovely letter as well, which thanked us for our advice. And he's winning money at poker, thanks to Poker Night Live. And there's a lesson there, because win money at poker, send cake, win more money at poker. You'll forgive me if he turns up tonight if I don't cheer in a massively biased way for Pompey Fan. Thank you, Barney. Absolute pleasure. He actually thanks you for your advice, James.
Oh, very good indeed.
And he actually thanks Michelle, but I've no idea what for.
So regarding Hold'em and the cakes, you see, you can give your cake and beat it.
Are we still on air? Phew. Guys, we're going to go to the MTT and check that out. Get those emails coming in. poker@pokerlightlive.co.uk right now, and you've got a chance to get it read out. There's going to be an awful lot tonight, so you want to get in early. What's going on here, James? Some sort of tournament?
It's a private members league tournament, and we've even got the table here, which has got the chip leader.
Just all of their treats early on tonight's show.
He might have less. He might be leaving Chelsea, but he's chip leader here. It's Crespo.
Ah. Well, we've got lots of regulars, some of which we've met in person. Good evening to all of you gents. I hope you're writing your emails now for the show. Joe, I'm always amazed at, James.
What's that, Nick?
I'm amazed that we don't get, especially when you're on, or Tom's on, I'm amazed that we don't get more hands to analyse. Because if I was in the watching audience,
Right.
that's what I would do. I would say, there's somebody that's earned money from poker for 30 years. Here's a hand that I'm not sure about. Of course, on the internet, you get your hand histories now.
Yeah.
I'll send that in, see what they think of my play.
That's what you'd be doing.
Well, I'm just,
Yeah.
It's just interesting that we don't get more of those. Maybe that's something you could send in tonight, guys. poker@pokerlightlive.co.uk. If you've got a hand you want analysing, bit of play you want comments on. James will be constructive, supportive and helpful. I will have a laugh. Different perspectives. 3 jacks for John Boy Rebel, and here's where John Boy Rebel's aggressive image gets him paid. Unfortunately, he's in trouble here. Oh, and he pays off as well.
Actually, what Nick's saying there actually is a good idea, because we were just actually talking tonight, and we were saying just how important it is for players to discuss hands, just to pull them to pieces together, and it helps everybody really pull the hands, all the betting, or everything about it. Just pull it all to pieces, then put it back together again, and it's amazing. This is a really, really good way of learning and just improving as a player.
Yeah, and not so much in a you did right or you did wrong,
not at
but
all.
in a what are the factors at work here? What are the considerations? What
Yeah, we couldn't care less who's right or who's wrong. That doesn't matter at all.
No.
In fact, the best situations are where you yourself think you're right.
Yes.
Then you discuss it a bit and you still think you're right, and then suddenly something happens, you go, hang on, I don't think I am right. Because this is suddenly a big opening, you've suddenly seen something else.
Yeah.
And those are probably the magical situations to discuss, because you say, wow, I've really got to rethink this. And of course, and we find these situations all the time. It's a very, listen, the game is as complicated as you want. That's the thing.
Ruddy complicated.
Yes.
But it's if you, and this is one of the things I found myself this week, James, writing an article for a poker magazine about being a professional player, and if you wanted to be a professional player, why do people succeed and fail, etc., etc. And I definitely think that one of the things is, have you got other players around you who you can discuss things with, who you can listen to their ideas, they listen to your ideas, and you improve together. If you don't have that, I think it's very, very difficult to do it on your own, because it's so difficult to be objective and to see hands and things you've done from a different perspective than your own. Very difficult to do on your own. And I'd encourage you guys, if you're new to the game, or if you've been playing for a while, it doesn't matter. You've all got each other out there. You've got the show to email, but you've also got the forums on the website.
Yep.
poker@pokerlightlive.co.uk if you want to email. Discuss ideas, and don't be afraid of sharing your play with people. Don't be afraid of admitting when you think you've made a mistake. That's the only way you get better. And I heard a podcast from which is an interview with Eric Seidel, and he was talking about the Mayfair Club. And James, I know you're familiar with this.
I am.
Which is a games club in New York, which became predominantly poker, but was also backgammon and chess and so on. And you'll all have heard of many of the names who came up through that club: Howard Lederer and
Jason, new bracelet winner this year, Jason Lester.
And
Eric Seidel,
as I said, and
Mike Sinkovitz. I don't know if you know of him.
Mike Sinkovitz, who isn't so much of a household name, but yeah. But there's 7 or 8 of them. Dan Harrington, of course.
Yeah, Dan Harrington, yeah.
There's 7 or 8 of them, and they all came up together, and he was saying, obviously we have a bit of ability for the games, but when we met each other we weren't expert players. We got a fast track to being expert players by challenging each other's play and each other's ideas. Only if you're challenged can you get better at anything. If you think you've got the right answer all the time, you know, you're half the people that talk about poker, really. No, you're not going to improve, are you?
No.
So do get involved, guys. Poker at pokernightlive.co.uk is a way you can do that immediately. We'd like to see your hands, your plays you're not sure about, your plays other people have made at your table you're not sure about, or anything you like. Poker at pokernightlive.co.uk. Amuse and entertain us. Also, I'm taking a month off the show and other things.
Oh.
What an opportunity to give me a good riddance message. No, but also, what should I do during my month off poker-wise? I'm actually prepared to travel. If there's a brilliant poker event or if somebody's having a fantastic night at their card club, I'll happily go and play.
All right.
As I'm going to be playing a lot of poker this month. So, what's everybody doing?
There we go. Keep Nick informed. Send him on his travels. So you're going to be playing quite a bit of internet poker as well?
Yeah, I'm going to try and play more live because I play quite a bit of internet anyway.
Right.
Because when you're sort of doing other things and working or whatever, online poker's so easy because you can pick it up and put it down when you need to. Whereas live poker just takes that commitment, doesn't it, of chunking out some time.
Yes.
But because I'm not going to be doing other work for a bit, I'm going to play more live.
So you're still going
to... There's plenty of card clubs I have never been to.
Right. Are you still going to manage to fit in Aspers?
Aces for Nat Pans, yeah, I'll be at Aspers on Sunday.
Aha.
If anyone...
That's £100 freeze out, isn't it?
John Boy Rebel, in trouble and gone. Well, John Boy Rebel is a good tournament player. He plays a very fast style. And sometimes it pays off for him, sometimes he hits the rail early.
But he's back.
He's back, yeah. Only he can do that. He ran into aces in the big blind, and he knows that that's not going to happen every day of the week.
Puck there with the ace-queen has raised it up to 180. Quite a chunky raise.
I'll be playing...
still only the second level.
I'll be playing in Newcastle on Sunday and Tuesday, and you won't.
I know.
I know. It's not fair, is it?
It's not.
We're ships that pass in the night. Well, Puck's made a nice check here, playing for the check raise, presumably. No, I don't know what he's doing there.
I have a feeling on the Tuesday I could well be quad biking at Camber Sands with my son.
Fantastic. Oh, well, Puck has slow played himself into oblivion here.
He has.
I quite like the check on the flop. I thought he was going to check raise.
Yeah.
I quite like that play when somebody calls a raise behind you. It's a good way of neutralising the position, isn't it? But he checked again and Crespo drew out on him, and that's the risk you take if you give a free card there. Although I guess you could argue he was unlucky that Crespo hit trips.
He was unlucky, but the thing is, if you've got top pair, and someone else seems to like it, the flop, one's got to start to question why. And when we can see that it's actually the board is paired, that's one of the things we've got to pop in our head, I think. The fact that the guy might have connected.
Absolutely.
And was he given the chance to connect? And if he was, well, it's more likely. Because that was the sort of hand. If he had a queen with a dodgy kicker, you might well have heard from him earlier.
Yeah.
But when in a situation where you let them have a free card, then it's more likely they've connected the second pair.
Yeah.
So piecing all the information together, whenever we sort of try and slow play or whatever, we have to be more prepared to let go of a hand.
Well, that is a key concept, James. Absolutely.
So, it's fine being tricky, nothing wrong with it, but be aware that there's a price to be paid. And the price to be paid is you will be more prepared to let the hand go.
Fantastic advice, I think.
But in the long run,
of course,
in the long run, it will still be profitable because the trickiness will enable you to be paid on times where maybe you wouldn't be paid.
Yeah.
And that will make up for the times that you have to let the hand go. And that's why we have to look at poker situations all the time in the long run. What happens if I play it tricky 100 times? And now we say, yes, well, this happens, etc., etc., etc. Yes, it looks like a profitable way of playing it. Fine, nothing wrong with it then. Unlucky this time, you just had to put the hand down. And extra unlucky because actually you were still winning when you put it down. No problem either, because to pass losing hands, we've got to sometimes pass hands which we're winning, because it's not keyhole surgery, we don't know exactly where we are. But that principle still stands that in no limit hold'em, you have to be able to put hands down.
You do.
Sign of a good player, and they can put a hand down.
And let's talk about something I'm quite keen to talk about more on the show, because it's such an important area of the game. We don't talk about it very much. Cake, no. We do talk about that a lot. I do, it's getting boring,
Position?
even for me. Controlling the size of the pot, James.
All right.
When we don't make this smutty.
No, I'm
Well,
controlling the size of the pot. Oh, I see, right.
Those are the times when we're not sure where
Have I
we
got
are.
to tell?
When we don't have several your lips move. Battle of the nines here. Nobody's going to want to commit very much. When we don't have complete information, when we're not sure where we are, we don't want to be doing what Poker did, which is commit a large amount to the pot speculatively, because if it's gone wrong, the price you pay is huge. You know, if your incomplete information leaves open the possibility they could have a great hand, well, you don't want to be making big bets in that situation.
I agree. You're preaching to the converted here, because I really, really think that the big step forward for players is to learn how to control the pot size.
Yeah.
And that is actually the next level, where we really, really control the size of the pot. So we just feel around, we ask more, have got more time to ask more questions, so we know exactly where we are.
Yeah.
Then we know exactly how to act.
Crumble makes the big. I guess that's basically a bluff, but he's successful.
The problem is, and this is a problem, why it's occurred rather, is that in a lot of the, say, sit and goes, or even the latter stages of some tournaments, we reach a situation where, because of the size of the blinds and because of the amount of chips we've got left, that our decisions are sort of curtailed, and therefore we often are left with no other option than to click that all-in button. Now this is right at the time. A lot of the times it is right. But what it does is, it actually sort of perverts our thinking on how to bet hold'em hands generally.
In that pan situation here, just a different topic, would you play this ace-queen out of a small blind?
The blinds, he's made it 90. In this case I would, because I've actually got the guy covered in chips.
Yeah.
So my chips are worth less. It's a pretty good hand, and I don't mind having a look. And I don't mind chucking it away. I'm not desperate to save my 90 chips.
Yeah.
Because I'm actually chip leader on this second chip leader on this table. And I think that the reason is because the guy with 1275 now, he's actually got less chips, and he is probably thinking he needs to get some. So therefore I think the quality of his hands doesn't have to be so high. And so that gives me a bigger calling window, because I think, oh, it looks like you're going to have to be trying something.
Yeah.
And my chips are worth less because I've got more chips. I could venture to see it. If it was someone who had me covered, didn't look like he was desperate, then I could easily just put it down.
Yeah. This is Poker Night Live. I'm Nick Wealthall, and you were just listening to James Browning giving you some excellent advice. This is a completely interactive show, as if you didn't know by now, and we're looking for your emails. It's poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. Email us anything you like. I'm going on holiday for a month. What should I do? No, I don't want to know what beach to lie on. I want to know what poker things to do. There's lots of card clubs I haven't visited in the UK. Have you got a good one for me? That would be cool. Any thoughts you got on the World Series of Poker? We'll give you an update very soon. The main event with over 8,000. Insane number of entrants. And also, we're keen to get your hands, your plays you've seen from other people, the things that you're not sure about or you just want discussed. Anything connected with poker, even if you're just starting out, this is the first time you've seen poker in any form, or if you're a professional player, we would love to hear from you. poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. And Puck Air is slow playing aces.
Yes, let's have a look. Mind you, I don't mind this because he's got such a low stack, he needs to get action, and he's trying to just create, he wants some opposition. That's fine, he's actually found 2 opponents. Funny enough, they've not connected. Actually, good for him, they haven't connected with a 9. So he's now put a small bet in there, trying to suck them along. Come on, go for your middle pin straight, which he has done. It's fantastic. He's got Bonu there, who's got very little chance of winning. And Pucker there has now turned it into 500. So actually, I think that was good play.
Yeah.
Pucker did not want to win 45 units by winning the blinds.
No, when you're short stacked, it changes, isn't it? You've got to, if you're short stacked and you pick up a big hand, you've got to take a chance.
Well, yes, because we say why. We'll say, unfortunately, Mr. Puck, you only have 300 odd chips.
Just call him Puck.
No, it's Mr. Puck. So we've got to keep it.
I'm just going to call him Puck.
Okay, Puck Jr.
All right.
Is that what he is? Yeah, it is, Puck Jr.
Puck Jr.
Now listen, Puck Jr., you've only got 300 chips. I'm afraid to say this is a slightly more risky play you're going to take. You're in early position, just limping. You might get a lot of opponents. You might, however, get extra lucky and someone raises, in which case you'll be able to re-raise all in, which will be beneficial for you. However, if they don't raise and you end up against more opponents, yes, the risk is higher, but I'm afraid to say in your situation, sir, you need to take a risk.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's basically it. But I think it was good. Well done, Puck.
Well, Bonu U2's taken unnecessary risk there, I'm afraid.
Well, Bonu, I've not been too keen, but he's now had a rebuy there, has he? Yep.
He's had his, is it rebuys or is it
I think
add-on?
is it 1 rebuy and 1 add-on?
1 add-on, so 1 rebuy. That's all I've got on my screen, that could be wrong.
Buy-in and 1 add-on. I think it could be 1 buy-in and 1 add-on.
Okay.
Anyway, he's got his buy-in there now. Because John Boy Rebel must have had his buy-in already, or refused to buy in.
Just doesn't want to spring for that 550 extra. Understandable, he's probably looking to go to Superman Returns at the weekend and wants to have a miniature Ben and Jerry's at the same time. I understand where he's coming from.
What, you get all that for 550? That's not bad.
No, but it could make the difference. He
Oh, it
might have
could
to
make a
go
difference.
Son's miniature tub, which would be terrible. Straight draw for Bonnie E2.
We could send him a bit of our chocolate cake.
Doesn't come. Shut up, James. Sometimes you say the most ridiculous things.
You want it all?
Obviously. That's going to see me through my month off. We're going to see this hand out and then take a couple of your emails.
Well, no action there. Ah, the ladies in the big blind. But doesn't look to be any opposition out there unless Naphans decides to get a bit chirpy in position, i.e. on the button. I don't think he's going to, though.
I know we're going to do a World Series of Poker. Oh, look, we've got
made
action.
up a small blind. Bonu with the 10-5.
Well, that's how you get hurt, isn't it?
Well, he could do. He doesn't, of course, expect his opponent's got such a monster hand. But no deception there from Froggy Boy. Puts in the raise and just captures the 30 from Bonu.
Well, he's probably seen Bono play a little bit loose and thought
Yeah,
he'll
he's been
call
playing
this.
very
And
loose so far, hasn't he?
yeah, but that was with his first buy-in, so maybe he's timed up now.
Yeah, I just think that he's suffering from this. I think people sometimes play overly loose when there's a buy-in period and just tend to lose sort of respect for a lot of the game, basically.
I know I do. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Couple of emails. Thanks. We're off to a flyer, guys. Keep them coming. We've got one from Mike, which says, "Hi, I'm tilting too much and keep blowing my bankroll." This is bad, Mike. I've assessed the situation as bad. Should I keep a minimum amount in my account and refill when I need to? Any advice would be welcome. I presume you mean above and beyond the advice of win money and never blow it. You mean more than that. Also, what does standard deviation per hour mean? Well, luckily I've got a standard deviation expert with me. It's James. You don't like me anymore, do you? How does he stop tilting and blowing off his bankroll?
Listen, I don't think you should start putting particular restrictions on yourself, which is suggested there. I think you just have to really respect the game. And what you have to bear in mind is, I know one of the reasons which cause tilt is that we get too focused on winning on a particular session.
Yeah.
And that is the problem. Just chuck that out of your mind there. It's no good. It's an ongoing game. And so every time we play an individual hand, this is just one hand out of many. And all we have to do is try to play that hand correctly. And if we play the hands more correctly than our opponents, then at the end of the day we'll end up with a smile on our faces and a few more pennies than we started with. But what I believe you'll be doing is you are desperately trying to prove your merit on one session. And this is a recipe for disaster. Because on the one session, luck is a predominant factor, not the skill. But in the long run, skill is the determining factor. So therefore, we mustn't... in one session, it might not be possible with the cards you get to win. But it might be possible to not lose as much as other people might lose with the cards you got. And in that case, that would be a plus point. Because the next session, you'd be starting from less of a deficit than these other people would have done. So that's the way you must start thinking about the game. And I think that's going to help you. Regarding the standard deviation in the game...
we haven't got enough time, have we, on this planet?
No. Basically, I wouldn't worry about this. I think this is your main problem, and I'm sure I'm right on this. Do not bother about the individual session. Think of the long term. I think that'll help.
Yeah, hope it does help, Mike. Chupper 50. I was playing Chupper 49 earlier, it wasn't as good as you. Chupper 50 says, hi, great show. Just started, not very well. Currently on the MTTs, I've got to be quick. I doubled up with ace-king suited, heads up against 2-2, pair of twos. And I had a debate with Hoofy on which was favourite pre-flop. I said 2-2, he reckons ace-king suited, which is it? Why are you debating Hoofy? That's crazy talk. Ace-king suited is a favourite over 2-2. Ace-king suited is a favourite over pairs up to 4 or 5. Are you disagreeing? Oh, excellent. Let's have a friendly fiver. Ace-king suited is a favourite over 2-2. Ace-king offsuit is an underdog against 2-2.
Jack-10 suited is a bigger favourite over a pair of twos than ace-king suited.
That's not the question.
No, I'm just saying...
That's not the question. That's not what Chopper 50 wants to know.
What's the percentage of ace-king suited against a pair of twos?
Oh, it's like 50.5 against 49.5.
OK.
I'm
not going to haggle over 0.5%.
That's the question.
I actually think it's still just a slight underdog.
OK.
The ace-king suited.
Let's bet a pound.
No.
Oh.
You might actually have some information on me.
Well, as in the right answer.
Yeah, you might have.
I think ace-king suited, we'll check for you.
I think it's underdog.
I think it's a favourite up to fives. I think it's a favourite.
I'll be interested to find out.
Because the ace acts as a... doesn't matter. We're going to check, Chopper. You've got us divided. You've divided the Poker Night Live A team. What's that all about? We can't win like this, James. Let's pull together.
It's okay. Well, I'm interested to find out. We'll find out. It's going to be very close.
It's very close, but there's one right answer.
We'll get it for you.
Even more exciting, did I remember, can you remind me, do I remember to thank Pompey Fan for the cake? I can't, did I mention that? Thanks for the cake. I'm so chuffed. Guys, keep the emails coming. We had a great start to the show, email-wise. poker@pokernightllive.co.uk. You know we want to hear from you. Lots of suggested topics. World Series of Poker, hands you want analysed. There's the address on the screen. Things for me to do poker-wise in my month off. Good riddance messages for me that make us laugh, whatever you like. Poker and your question, 84222. When you get back to a game, it's going to be the MTT again. I don't know what we're going to do. It's a magical mystery tour for me as much as it is for you. It is the MTT. It's a different table though. We've changed it up. And there's 6 players at this table, which means there must be a funny number of players left. So slightly short-handed for the moment, the players are.
33 players left.
33 players left. That obviously doesn't go into 8. I can tell you that straight off.
You sharp?
Well... Creamed Cage takes on down. Welcome, Creamed Cage. Haven't seen you play before. Doesn't mean you haven't. I haven't seen you play before.
Well,
But he is a regular poster on the forums, I'm told.
here we go. No wonder it was like a split decision here.
Yeah.
It was a good sign. It was a compliment that it was a split decision.
Yeah, and who's right? Snakey's called with a flush draw. James, I'm right.
Can I give you the results?
Yeah.
We're not going to decide. We're
Yeah.
going to spoil the
I'll tell
excitement.
you what, why don't you give me the result first and then tell me the numbers? Because it's all, we live in a results-based
I'm going to give you the
world.
results.
Okay.
First of all, ace-king suited against a pair of twos.
Yeah.
It will be tying points. You can't
What?
suddenly be listening to the results of the Eurovision Song Contest and not want to hear the scores for Greece.
Yeah.
You've got to hear them as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's tying.
It's tying 0.63% of the time.
Sure.
Nobody mind sure.
I was going to say 0.64, but
Okay.
0.63 is all right, yeah.
The pair of twos
I rounded up.
wins 49.6% of the time.
Not enough for a win, certainly.
Well, hang on, there's a tie situation there.
Yeah, all right, yeah.
And the ace-king suited wins 49.77%.
A bigger number, so there we are.
Yes, which is
Which is the end of the day.
0.17%
So
more.
you owe me £5
I
and
think I didn't
cake
bet.
of my choice.
I don't believe I bet.
Well,
I think I
you did.
declined the
I think
bet.
that was clear. So, Chopper, I'm afraid you lost. Don't debate with Hoofy. That is an unprofitable enterprise. That's my guess, anyway. It's very close, isn't it? Very close.
As close as it gets.
Close as it gets.
However,
Close as it gets, but ace-king suited is the
the
favourite.
jack 10 of spades, for
Yes.
example, against a pair of twos, wins. The tie situation now is 1.4%, but the jack 10 wins 53.28%.
So there you are, Chopper, an answer to a question that you didn't ask. That does make
Against
James look slightly better.
45.32%, which I did state the jack 10 was a far superior hand against the pair of twos and the ace king.
Well, the interesting thing...
I did mention that, didn't I?
You did. The interesting thing, apart from the fact that I was right, the interesting thing, for those minded to see it,
Yes.
who have very long lives on this planet to make this worthwhile, the interesting thing is that what people refer to as a 50-50 toss-up is not that straightforward.
No.
I mean, 53-45 is not a 50-50 toss-up.
No, not at all. People call a lot of these 50-50s.
But that's an 8% advantage.
Yes,
now, if you had an
exactly.
8% advantage all your life, you'd be a millionaire from poker.
Now, ace-king suited against pair of twos, you can say 50-50.
That's a proper 50-50,
That's a proper 50-50.
with a slight advantage to ace-king suited.
But proper 50-50.
But with a slight advantage to ace-king suited.
But you did agree it was a proper 50-50, which
I agreed
think...
that myself and Hoofy were right. That's what I agreed.
But ace-king offsuit against a pair of twos...
It's an underdog, yeah,
The
sure.
ace-king only wins 47% of the time.
Yeah.
And we're back to, actually, nearer to what Nick thought, the 0.62% of the time.
Let's move on. I think we've
No, it's
enjoyed...
interesting. I think it's good, actually. It's good,
Well, it's
good for people to get their heads around
The
a lot of
interesting
these
thing about it
situations.
is that people refer to a small pair against two overcards as one blanket statement.
Oh, yes.
And there's actually up to 10% difference, which 10%, especially if you're new to the game, may not sound like a big difference, but like I said, if you had a 10% edge every time you played cards, or an 8% edge every time you played cards, you would be a millionaire by the end of your lifetime.
Of course. You just play those situations, nothing else. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
In fact, the one where people often say it, and this is the one which I like to point out, is the ace-king. And this is important because I think ace-king, this is to prove that ace-king is not a great calling hand, Nick.
Sure.
And if we look at ace-king offsuit against a pair of tens, the ace-king actually only wins 42.5% of the time.
Yeah.
50-50, it wins 42.5%.
Not even close, is it?
Not even close to 50-50.
Ruddy ace-king.
But that's a massive difference. You know, the pair of tens sails home 57%, and there's less than 0.5% of tie. But that is is a good underdog. My goodness.
Yeah. Well, re-raise from the jacks here from Mr. Perfect. It's a good strong bet. He knows that Nat Pans is raising in late position and may not have a premium hand. He's not overly keen on seeing a flop with jacks out of position. And he takes it down. Perfect. Perfect.
Perfect.
I would like, James, I haven't had one on the nights I've been on, I don't know if you've had one, there are 8,000 people, more than 8,000 people, we don't know the final figure till tomorrow, playing the World Series of Poker.
Right.
2 pair for Nat Pans, he's not going to get any action though. I can't believe that one of our viewers watching tonight doesn't know somebody out there.
All right.
I would love an email telling us about somebody that's in the main event and how they got on. Maybe you're even in the main event and you're watching us online from the States. That would be the ultimate.
Because
but if you know
knocked
someone
out.
that's gone, tell us about how they qualified and how they get on there. That would be fantastic. poker@pokernightlive.co.uk.
Yes, maybe one of your friends won a seat for the World Series.
I think law of numbers. This is the only and clearly best live poker show on TV. One of our viewers must know somebody. Ace King for Nash Anubis. He's getting a bit of action out of Snakey. He's only got second pair. I don't know what Snakey's calling for here. Snakey, why are you calling?
Oh my goodness.
Called it down and he's a loser.
I'm one of these guys. I just know someone.
You know someone that's in the main event?
Oh, I know someone who's got 128,000 chips.
That's all right. Well, tell us all.
Outstanding is Richard Grieco.
Yes.
Um,
And who is he?
He's someone who I just think is an absolutely tremendous player. He's absolutely got so many different styles of play, and he's one of these players who continually. Oh, and have a look at
Ace
this.
King against twos.
Oh, yes.
See, I told you it was a favourite. Look, it's one.
It was off suit.
Pulling your chain. I'm making jokes.
Good.
Unlucky Crumble, you were a slight favourite in that hand, we can confirm, but unfortunately your opponent hit.
Yes.
Richard Grieco, fantastic.
Yeah. He's
28,000 chips after one day.
This is massive.
That's extraordinary.
This is a guy who actually makes amazing moves with small raises all the time.
Right, Helmuth style, basically.
Yeah, and Goering style.
Goering style.
Alan Goering.
And the thing you have to understand, guys, about the power of doing that, and it's a style that takes a while to learn. I'm actually trying to adapt the way I play to be more like that, because the potential power of it is if you can take down pots while only risking a minimum amount of chips, well, that's a poker player's dream, isn't it?
Yes.
You know, mathematically, expectation-wise, you're risking a small amount to win a bigger amount. Fantastic.
You're making people make mistakes a lot of the times because
Right.
actually they mathematically should be calling you, but they're actually giving you too much respect and passing. So they keep on making mathematical errors against you. So you are actually getting positive expectation by their mistakes. The next thing is, of course, if they want to now push you off the hand, you can let go of it and you've left very little behind. So therefore, you can get back on your horse, bang, pop out another
Controlling
one.
the size of the pot. I don't even know if we should be talking about this.
I know.
This is like proper pros secrets.
I know.
Shouldn't have had that drink before dinner. You should be taking notes on this show, guys. poker@pokernightlive.co.uk if you want to get involved. Let's get back to the game.
One other bit of information, because I'm sure
We're
that
not
our
getting back to
viewers
it. There we are.
would love to hear it,
Yeah.
because he's a well-known player. We've got Daniel Negreanu, who's got 85,800.
Yeah, he'll blow them all. He's rubbish.
He's great. Amazing, isn't it?
He's a great player.
Amazing.
Flopped flush for Nat Pans and a straight flush draw to boot. Against, look at this, James, top set. Can Nash Anubis get away from this? Very unlikely. He's got top set. He's going to take some...
Oh, look what he's got!
Straight flush against a full house.
This is ridiculous.
Have we ever had this on Poker Night Live?
Yes.
No, we haven't. Never.
Yes, with James on
please
before.
Don't spoil it. It's a magical moment. We've never had this on Poker Night Live.
It's the
This
second
is-
time for me. It's
never
unbelievable.
happened. It's extraordinary. I've got a sneaking feeling Nash Anubis might go broke.
Oh my goodness. It happened. In fact, the time it happened before
I don't want to know about that.
was actually the 10s were on the flop as well.
Brilliant. It wasn't as good as this. Nash Anubis against a straight flush. Nash, you quite often email, do send us one in and bemoan your fate. At least you've got a great story. The Ten of Hearts has come on the river. He thinks, brilliant, not only have I got this locked up, because I've got the full house, he also thinks the other guy must have made
The
the flush.
annoying thing here is he only needs one card to make his straight flush. Because the jack on the flop, it counterfeited his 6.
I don't know what you're saying to me, mate.
Well, it's a shame that he didn't make the flush. There was no jack of hearts there. It would be more impressive, wouldn't it? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
James, why are you spoiling this beautiful moment for us?
Oh, sorry.
Straight flush being a full house. That's sexy poker.
It is sexy poker.
And you still find flaws. Ace King against pair of twos. Well, two should have played there. He was a favourite, I guarantee it. Oh, you enjoyed that monster hand. Nash Anubis, like I said, at least you go out with a story. What can you do?
What can you do, mate?
What can you do? And Crumble's not going to get any action. Still the early stages of this tournament, but there aren't many runners, so that does affect things. 38 runners, $300 added by the site with only a $5 buy-in, so these players are getting value.
Great value.
And that's what it's all about.
Little snippet to keep you going. Greg Raymer, 48,500.
Oh, the man, the legend.
Sensational. What, 3 years in a row to be getting chips in the World Series? Let's make it pretty clear that this guy can play poker.
I was, well, the thing I always say about Greg Raymer, which is probably better known now than it was when he actually won it, is that when I started to take the game seriously 6 or 7 years ago, he was a major poster on 2+2's website on the forums, and he was a real technical thinker about the game. And when he won it, he was described in all of the normal press, in the daily papers and that kind of thing, as an amateur. And I thought, this guy's not an amateur, this guy's a serious... He may not play for a living, or he didn't at that point, but he's a serious player and thinker about the game. And he's gone on after his win to completely... I mean, last year, he got a horrendous bad beat. He had... he finished 20th, which is remarkable after winning the previous year, given the size of the field. And he got crippled when he took kings up against... He had kings, the other guy had king-jack. And made a 4 on the board flush against him. I mean, the man is a fantastic deep stack tournament player. There's no two ways about that.
No, definitely.
Amazing he's got chips again. That really is impressive.
And one other impressive thing is our British player who's won a bracelet this year, who's already won a WS World Series Poker, World Poker Tour tournament, WPT tournament, is John Gale.
Yeah.
And there he is. He's got 39,000 in the main event. Fantastic. What? He's just blasted onto the poker scene.
When you're hot, James.
Backgammon player.
There's a lot of you about, I hear.
Yeah, I mean, and the backgammon players really are making great progress in poker. Very exciting.
Well, we will keep you up to date on the World Series of Poker. Obviously, it's all a bit crazy at the moment, guys. They've got 8,500 runners split over 4 days. So each day, just over 2,000 start their tournament and play the same levels, and then the field will all come together. So we've only had 3 of the 4 first days, so actually we don't know how the whole tournament looks, but obviously we know who's out and who's in. People like Phil Hellmuth's out, and many others. But once it gets together and it's a bit more coherent in a couple of days, we will give you the updated info, and I'm sure you'll follow it yourself on the web. The biggest poker tournament of all time. They reckon $11 million for first place.
They're not going to cap it.
They were, and now it looks like they're going to get almost 9,000 entries for it. They reckon that they're going to create 27 millionaires. They reckon 27th place will pay $1 million. Can you imagine that? That's insanity.
That's
finishing 27th in a tournament and you become a millionaire.
Fantastic, isn't it? Amazing.
Amazing.
So what do you think the final figure is?
Well, it looks like they've got 2,150 each day, plus about 600 alternates who are going to come in late. So it looks like they've got about 8,800, but we won't know until today's play is done.
Until Florida does a vote.
Yeah.
Count.
We won't know until the hanging chads have brushed off all the clubs. Aces in the big blind for Cream Cage. But I mean, that's, you know, that's just sick.
Incredible. Well, we've got aces for Cream Cage on the big blind. Very happy he is. Please, someone try and steal. Yes, he does. It's split. Decides to raise it to 200. Cream Cage says, there's a little diddly re-raise. What do you think of that? He said, I like it.
Oh, absolute disaster for split
Cream
pots.
Cage now. What are you going to do? He's checked it. Hope you've got an ace, he's saying. He has got an ace. He's bet 1,000. Cream Cage can hardly contain himself. All in. Thank you very much. I've just absolutely...
crushed you. Lucky for split pots.
mystified you.
Lucky for split pots that Cream Cage didn't have more chips, actually.
Yes,
he's not getting away from that, is he?
No, not at all.
Good action hand to end that segment. Yeah, I know.
To hit 2 pair in the flop against trips is an absolute disaster. Now that is amazing, isn't it? Amazing.
It's not as amazing as a straight flush being a full house, and yet when that happened, all you could do was pick.
I knew you'd say that. You get 1 card.
You get all excited about that.
I'm very excited about that.
Guys, after the break, we're going to be showing a cash game. We want to show a 2-4 cash game. So if you like playing at that limit, your chance to play on TV. That's what we're going to hope for. I'm going to play Be the Presenter. So if you want to push my massive buck teeth down my neck, you can play me at poker in a few minutes. There's an email from Natalie. She says, "Hi, my name is Natalie." Good call. And I really love playing poker. My boyfriend got me into it. I don't bet a lot of money, but play with friends and tend to win a lot. Good for you. Why is it that men don't see us women as a threat? Because we're basically stupid, is the true answer. I get laughed at a lot and people expect me to play badly. What are your views? Well, probably the opposite to that, to be honest, Natalie. I actually think that women, it's a massive generalisation, but seeing as you've asked the question in that way, as a generalisation, I think women's temperament is better suited to poker than men's. Because a lot of men have male ego and pride, which makes them play badly. I also think women, as a massive generalisation, have more empathy, and I think that empathy makes it easier for you to get inside somebody else's head. So I think that women have the potential to outplay men at poker. They quite often don't, because poker's such a male-inhabited world, but I've always taken women very seriously when I've played them, apart from my sisters, because they are rubbish, and Michelle, obviously. That's a joke. It's obviously, I wouldn't say it if it wasn't a joke. James, women in poker, should they be allowed?
It definitely should be allowed. I think the one thing for the lady players is, I think when they first start, is that they sometimes feel slightly overawed in live tournaments. And I think that is probably the reason why the fastest growing group of players on the internet are, in fact, the lady players. Because I think they feel less inhibited playing on the internet. And I think when they're learning the game, I think they feel more confident playing the internet because they don't worry so much about making a mistake. Whereas I think playing live, some of the ladies I've seen tend to worry too much about making a mistake. And initially, they possibly live play too tight. And that could be a slight downside. So they become a little bit readable in their early days. But once they know how to play, then I think they have a huge advantage, because I think that the men don't realise that they've developed as a player, and then they can catch the male egos quite easily.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think, yeah, sometimes again, guys, I apologise for generalising, but you have to if you're going to have a discussion about a group this big. But sometimes the aggression and the aggressive side of the game doesn't come quite as naturally to the female player.
I don't think it does.
But I do think that they are able to read better than men sometimes, because men sometimes get the kind of red mist, I'm going to take this pot by bullying attitude to things.
Having said that, regarding aggression, however, of course, there are always exceptions, and like Lucy Rocash has got to be the most aggressive no-limit tournament player in the world. She's amazing.
There are always exceptions.
Raise, re-raise, fearless she is.
We've got so much to pack in, guys. We've got to go for a break now. We're going to do a few more emails after the break, and then I'll play Be the Presenter. We'll be looking at a 2-4 cash game, we hope. We've got the MTT much later on, and lots more fun to boot. Keep those emails coming in on World Series of Poker, cash games, what I should do on my holiday, whatever you like. poker@pokerlive.co.uk. See you in a minute.
This very moment in time is focusing. We still want you to send us loads more emails. Apparently they've been pouring in, which is great news because it makes... We still want to hear more from you. So don't forget, you can email us at poker@pokernightlive.co.uk, or you can text us and you can put in the word poker in your question and send this to 84222. So we'd love to have more and more questions, and we'll try and handle them all tonight. Anyway, I'll tell you what, let's go and have a look at a cash game.
Cash games with James Browning.
Here
Tell you what,
we are.
if they don't learn from this, they'll never learn. That's what I think.
Thanks, Nick. I'll try and live up to that great comment of yours.
Stellar billing.
And it's a 50-cent $1 cash game. You can buy him for $100 or a mere tenner. We've got the Ranger on the button, Phoebster and Caesar on the blinds, Fishing for Chips. It lends itself to that name. Coming in for $1. And he's got position on Caesar. Caesar's got Jack 4, which actually gives him 2 pairs, Jacks and 7s. And he bets. Fishing for Chips, no connection, passes. So when we're watching this cash game, let us try and work out what sort of style table this is. Let's see who is a raiser, what sort of hands they're raising with. Okay, so we've got Ranger there. He's raising up to $4 with 9-7 of hearts, but he's in the cut-off position, so we can bear that in mind. Okay, we've got Phoebster in the cut-off with Ace-10. Will he do anything? Let's have a look. Yeah, and he actually just calls. And we've had a raise from the button with Caesar with pair of 9s. And it's been called by Slick Jack, Ace-10, Johan with the pair of 8s, and Phoebster, who limped in with the Ace-10. Passed all the way around to Caesar, who bets out. No connection on the flop, but in fact he quite likes that flop. He's only worried about a king. He doesn't believe anyone's got a 4. It's a pair of 4s with a king. They might have a flush draw, in which case he's going to charge them for playing, but he takes it down. So interesting there, already from those couple of hands we've spied a couple of things. We've seen that Ranger in the cutoff is prepared to raise it up to $4 with 9-7 suited, but Phoebster in the cutoff was only prepared to call with a better hand than the 9-7, which was Ace-10. So therefore, our information collecting has already begun.
James, I'm playing like a donkey.
Oh dear.
I've assessed my play to this point and it sucks hard.
Why, did you just have asses?
Hey!
Boom, boom. Phoebster, pair of queens. You're playing Beat the Presenter, but we are having fun collecting data on our players.
Skill, yeah. Aptly named Beat the Presenter.
You probably wish you were with us, actually, doing this.
I do now, yeah.
Because we're making assessments for the players as they go along. Okay, Phoebster, Caesar. Aha, like middle-ish, early middle, Ace-King. Okay, raises to 4. Called by Slick Jack with Ace-10. Interesting.
Oh, you can see the problem with doing that with Ace-10 straight away, can't you?
And there could be trouble ahead. Caesar contemplating. Does he spring the trap yet. Well, he has done. And oh dear me, slick jack there. No containing pot size here for him. Whacks it all in. Caesar dwells, but we know he's going to call. I think he's torturing him. I presume he's going to call. No? I think I missed something there, you know. Okay. Wow. Well, slick jack. You've smashed Caesar to bits. That clunky noise probably means that Nick could be covered in chocolate cake shortly.
Yeah, when I come back and it's everywhere, it's not a dirty protest, okay?
Phoebster, small blind with a pair of ladies. Makes it 350. Slick jack, fresh from his success with the ace-10, decides to pass. Okay, interesting, we've got Ranger on the cutoff with a pair of nines. Well, remember, he raised there with 9-7 before. And interestingly enough, this is good, isn't it? He's now raised to 4, which is the same as he did with the 9-7 suited. So therefore, he's being deceptive. He's actually got a better hand, but he's still put in the same raise. Now, fishing for chips early position with a pair of nines is just called. Round to slick jack and small blind. He's got ace queen suited. Just made it up. Johan on the big blind, ace 9 suited. He might smell weakness, but no. Caution from him. And no one apart from fishing for chips has got a diamond. But look at this. Could we see our second straight flush? Fishing for chips has got 6, 7, 8, 9 of diamonds. The only problem, it'll be hard to keep the opposition there. Oh, that's how to keep them there. Now the board's paired up. Slick jack's got no connection there. Johan, of course, has got the up and down straight, but doesn't like the pair and doesn't like the diamonds. Not quite sure what the dwell up here is about. He checks, and Fishing for Chips puts in a bet of 3. Pot size bet from Fishing for Chips. $3 in the pot, he bets $3. Johan passes, and notice a good control there from Johan. He had an up and down straight, but he realised it was not as it seemed. The board had already paired, so he could have been drawing completely dead. Someone could already have a house, or even 4 of a kind. But if they didn't have that, there was also a flush draw, and that, of course, counterfeited some of his straight cards, because if they came as a diamond, he wouldn't like them. Whether his opponent had a diamond or not wouldn't be the question. He could easily be pushed off the hand. So Johan, no qualms there. Up and down straight, pooh, he said. I don't want to play it in these circumstances. But how many of us out there would still want to have a look anyway? If you're one of them, think again.
How's the cash game, James?
It's great, actually. We've just
I'm starting to sort out these ladies in the sit and go.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
You got them on the run?
They're just so soft under the tough exterior.
We've got trip 6s for Phoebster.
It's got to be the tightest table in history. I'm bluffing again. I'm bluffing again. I'm telling them I'm bluffing on air. All right, yeah, he believed me. That's a shame. Where's the duplicitous double didn't work?
Am I going to enjoy watching this?
There's a lot of interesting situations.
Okay, good. Which could be a euphemism for oops.
I made a magnificent re-raise semi-bluff all in. James, you'll enjoy it.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
I'm going to look forward to seeing that.
Yeah, look forward to that.
Okay, it's a raise from Johan there, who's been a little bit quiet, and there we go. Pair of sixes, but he's just sensed that he hasn't done much. He's going to get a lot of respect. Not the sort of hand that they expect him to have there. So, no action here.
James, when I analyse this...
Caesar just takes down the blinds.
When I analyse my play later on, do I have to produce a rational justification for everything?
For all your plays, yes.
Christ, we're in trouble.
Johan, under the gun, 6-jack. Don't think so. Caesar with the ace-9 suited makes up the blind. Flop 7-4-4. No connection for anyone here, so let's see what happens to the betting. There's only $2 in the pot, however. It's a pretty good flop actually for Caesar. I can even imagine his ace is winning. But now he's checked. Slick Jack's checked. Well, a 3. I don't think even if my opponent's got a 3, they're going to be that confident. I think that was a window of opportunity for Caesar just to push out a bet. But he decided not to. Well, he's actually got a hand now. He's got 9s and 4s. He's got the high card. Now he decided to check again. I think he's left the window open thinking that Slick Jack might try and steal it this time. I really believed he thought he was winning. I think Caesar could have probably missed... I think he did, in fact, miss a betting opportunity there. With a paired board, and then the turn card coming as a small card, i.e. the 3, as I said, I don't think your opponent's that keen, even if they've got the 3. So therefore, I think it's a great opportunity there just to push out a bet and probably take the pot down. Right, we're saying it's only $2, but listen, that's 4 blind. That's 2 big blinds. So it's just in proportion to the game you're playing. So let's get bamboozled by the sum of money. Let's translate it into blinds. And let that decide our play. A cut-off again. We're looking at the cut-off situation. Here's Caesar in the cut-off with ace-jack. And he's raised that up. Phoebster, king 4 suited. Early position now because the other 2 players have passed. Slick Jack. Had a jack but didn't influence him. Could have had a jack fetish, I suppose, with his name, but obviously doesn't. Converse. Raises with the pair of 9s and small blind and takes down the blinds. Well, we can see I want a trump. Has got a pair of jacks and is on the big blind. Slick Jack. Cut off.
James, you think I should fold a goal in here?
Raise. I'm not allowed to help you. In fact, also I wanted to be a surprise. I don't even want to watch.
Oh.
I like, it to be exciting for me. Trying to work out what your play is going to be. Slick Jack has again shown power decision. Here.
Aunt Sally's so tight she would have folded as well.
I'll tell you what, Slick Jack here is actually pulling off some big bets at the right time and frightening his opponents away. Really trying to represent situations here, Slick Jack. So let's just keep on watching this space because He's certainly arousing my interest with some of his plays. Want to see how this ends. Is it all going to end in tears? Or is he going to start taking the table apart one by one? Slick Jack, we've got the magnifying glass on your plays. Well, Johan, pair of fours, 5, 9, 8, aces, 4 overcards. He's not bothered. He had position, he thought he sensed weakness, and he decided the best way to take advantage of it was to bet, which he did. Cowboys for Slick Jack. He's got a real hand this time. 11.50 in the pot. He's bet $10. He's got the overpair. Caesar, well, not interested with his pair of eights anymore. Puts it down.
How's the cash game, James?
It's good. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah?
50 cent, 1 cent. It's $1. I think it's good. Johan there, 7, 8. It's got the middle pair. And he, oh, now. Is that one of the cards Johan's going to be worried about? He's checked.
Oh, just made a magnificent play. You're going to enjoy that on the highlights.
Don't tell me, don't tell me.
All right.
Oh, well, converse there is just absolutely yelling it out that he's hit that king. Oh, and Johan doesn't believe it. He's actually wrong-footed, Johan. But is he going to be worried about Johan? Johan's made it to... No, he's not, and Converse has shoved it all in. Johan thinks he's got a call now, and look at that, it's got icing on the cake in the end there. It's an ace for Converse. He's made 2 pairs against Johan's measly pair of 8s. And Johan there certainly got the wrong read, and I think he just didn't believe that Converse would bet $12 if he'd hit the king. And I think he thought that he was representing that he hit the king, and that's why he came over the top of him, wanted to finish it there and then. I think he was probably putting him on an ace-queen or something. He thought, you're just pretending, mate. Take that. But unfortunately, Johan, this time, you're wrong. But listen, poker's a long game. And I'm sure that Mr. Johan Harron is going to be on the plus side at the end of it all. Just a little blip in the course of his poker history there. Have you avoided coming 8th yet?
I've so battled back. This is a heroic journey of despair turned into fortune by glorious bravery in the face of adversity, James.
Have you avoided?
You're going to love this. This is great TV. I don't want anyone going anywhere. This is sensational.
Sounds good.
Poker
It's a
TV.
good preview. But have you avoided coming 8th yet?
Nope.
Okay. I just
It's still very much up for grabs.
They're being dogged and determined again.
Who has?
They are.
They are.
Everyone.
They're just a bunch of tight nits. They never gamble. It's ABC poker. They raise, they've got a hand, they weak bet, they haven't got much of a hand. It's ridiculous.
Whoa, you're going to niggle them now. Your life is...
I'm sitting here waiting for them to show me something. It's ridiculous.
Well, Nick is really sticking his neck above the turrets now. I fear for him.
What's that? The only way I lose here is if somebody gets a big hand on me. That's the only way I lose.
Whoa, this is it. If it could end in tears, I reckon.
I'm I'm sorry, so I'm trying something new, James. I'm trying to bring an edge to be the presenter.
Yeah,
it's all got a bit friendly, hasn't it? It's all got a bit. Oh, let's all play a game of cards together. That's not poker. Poker's war.
Are they reacting in the chat box to this?
No, a bunch of. Yeah, of course they are. They know I love them really, but it's fun, isn't it?
Well, there you are. He's had to smooth it over with. Yes, I love them really.
I love them really.
So much for the edge. Very edgy that is. I love them really.
Yeah, but not while we're playing.
Phoebster limps with the ace-jack. Johan cranks it up with 7-8 suited cut-off position. This is the position we're having a good look at tonight. And the flop is ace-king-queen. Phoebster's there. He thinks his ace is winning. Johan starts to believe him. Okay. Ace-9 under the gun for Phoebster. Round to the blinds. Ranger scoops it up. Okay, cut off. Let's have a look at fishing for chips. He's got ace-jack. Yep, raised to 4. Johan, early position with the ace-9 suited. Is he just going to call? Nope, he raises it. Domino pass there. Pop, 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 pop. Pass, pass, pass. He got the auto pass on. Caesar, no thanks. And Johan takes the blinds. Ace-3 off suit for Johan this time. No. Troublesome hand, he decides. I'm sure he's right. Ace-10 doesn't want to play either. Passed all the way around to slick jack. Takes the blinds and now... oh, look at this. Could be a contest here. Slick jack's got the pair of queens and the small blind, and Johan is waiting with the pair of 10s. Now, slick jack, are you going to be deceptive here? Are you going to try and trap Johan? Just make up the small blind? No, you're putting in a raise. And here we go. It was a re-raise from Johan. Now, is Johan going to listen to this? Oh, he doesn't. Well, well. Now, actually, that ace might save Johan here. Slick Jack... oh, he thinks he's going to win it for him. Slick Jack's checked. Johan's bet 40 now. It's a big bet. Pot of 54. And don't tell me this. Is he going to get the queens to lay it down? He does. Oh my goodness. There we go. It started with a small raise from Slick Jack. Johan re-raised to 11. Slick Jack re-raised to 32. Johan just called this. The flop came an ace. Slick Jack checked. Big sign of weakness there. Johan smelt the weakness. Bet $40. Thank you very much. This is how to make the worst hand win. Well, well. And I think that that was premeditated by Johan, that he decided that if he called that big re-raise, he was actually going to play aggressively if his opponent checked. And that's what he did.
I'm so going out 8th. I can just see it happening now.
What we're doing tonight, though, is we're going to time how long you last rather than what position you go out on.
I had 2,000 chips, James. I couldn't get rid of them much faster.
You've had them for quite a while now. But I'm not going to say what the blinds are, but they look like they're sort of getting quite big. You actually could break a new world record for the amount of time maximum number of players survive.
It's so tight. It's like...
I think your talk has made them tighter now.
How could they be tighter? This is dead air, James. You have to commentate.
It's King 4-5. We've got two pairs for Converse against the top pair on the board. Fishing for chips has got the king. Converse deliberately slow thinking on the internet, letting his time bar tick away, but timing it to perfection and just putting in the flat re-raise against Fishing for Chips. You seem to get really good cards just when you need them. Nick.
Yeah, it's quite disappointing.
Converse in the cutoff with the queens. It's cutoff time. We ain't seen... Well, he's just put 4 in. It seems to be the popular bet in the cutoff. Ten Jack 3. So Converse says, well, I've got an overpair to that lot. That's pretty tasty. 9.50 in the pot. Bet 7. Fishing for chips out of hand, but he sensed that he was behind quite correctly, I might add. Well, Slick Jack. And even the ace-9, the cut-off passed.
I've got the decision from hell. I can't believe I've got to pass this hand. This is sick. This is a fascinating one for discussion, isn't it, right? Later on.
Big exhale of breath there from Nick because he had
silly game.
Make a big decision.
We've got some very interesting hands to look at.
Oh, good.
It's going to be interesting.
Mm-hmm. Slick Jack's got the proper hand there. Aces. 35 in the middle. Interesting to see what he bets there. And he gets quite well paid there. Okay. Compensation for Fishing for Chips. We've given him a pair of jacks to see if he can recoup some of his money. He's popped in $4. I want to trump. Doesn't want to trump that bet. Caesar, small blind, no thanks, and Slick Jack. Is it a rematch? Are you going to give Fishing for Chips a rematch? No, I'm not. I'm keeping my dosh. Here, win that peanut, Fishing for Chips. Phoebster on the cutoff. Well, are we going to see anything? No. Slick Jack, small blind, King Jack, Kojak. Makes it up to $1. Johan, Queen 3 off suit. I think he'll check. He does. But it's quite a pleasant sight for Johan. He's got the Queen of Clubs. Oh, he likes that now. He likes that now. Now, Slick Jack's got the 9-10 Jack Queen and a club. Johan's got the pair of threes and a club. As I said, he quite liked that. And now Slick Jack's bet. Well, I think Johan's going to call this, no problem. Oh. Well, we've seen a reversal there, but of course, there we have King Jack, of course. It made him the top straight. Now, did he actually call there? I missed that whether actually Johan called that or not. He did pass it over. Well done, Johan, because I thought you probably sensed you were ahead there. So, in fact, that's a very good pass. It was the top straight for Slick Jack. Johan there could well have thought that his queen was winning because it didn't feel like that the ace was out there. It had been a marvellous card for him because he had the flush draw and the pair. But somehow he avoided it. And again, I think that might be that he just thought that Slick Jack, to bet against him, probably did have the hand. Because he could presume that he himself would be getting respect from Slick Jack. And of course, if one feels that certain players are respecting you at the table, well then that can help us with some of our decisions. Now, you might all have to be staying behind class tonight so we can watch Nick and be the presenter, because it isn't half going on a long time.
It's just silly now. Well, it is. It's just bingo now, sadly. It was an interesting game to start with.
Converse Ace-King against King-Queen. King-Queen in big trouble in this raised pot. But he's representing the hand. He does have position, Phoebster. He's bet $3 into 9. That's tough for Converse. I think Converse, of course, has created a problem himself. He probably could have pushed out a bet himself. He didn't. He left the door open for Phoebster, who seized his opportunity and stole the money. Well done, Phoebster. Well played. Johan in the cutoff with a pair of sixes. Ah, just calls. So he's got one limper. He's got the pair of sixes. And he just called. Flop, ace 2, 3. It's easy as 1, 2, 3, as Mr. Lou Christie said. I want a trump, she got the top pair. That's $4. Slick Jack would love to see 5, but doesn't. Now, back to the problem, but it looks less of a problem because that queen is a magical card. Because of course there's an extra pair out there, which means it was aces and threes with a queen. Slick Jack didn't have to worry so much about his kicker, and as it happened, because I1 didn't have a much better kicker anyway, it ended up a split pot. Without the board pairing up, well then Slick Jack would have been very worried about his situation.
Tell you what, bad things happen to good people, James. Do you know that?
Think this is true?
Yeah, I just proved it.
Don't give the game away.
Oh, God. This game is sick.
Three, 7, King 8. No one is connected. Well, ace wins by virtue of having the biggest card. No connection for anyone. I wanna with king 6. It doesn't look very good. Nothing from the cut-off there. Feebster, no thanks. Just the blinds get a walk. Caesar on the button with Jack 10. Interesting. What do you do there, mate? Let's have a look.
I'd limp. It's a brilliant implied odds hand.
I quite like the limp, but he's actually bet and taken the $1.50, which is okay as well. Definitely should be played, I believe, the hand. But actually, many a time I will vary my play with a limp, like Nick said, because it's the sort of hand where you've got a very good idea how you've hit the flop. And you can hit the flop in a big way. You can hit one of those magical straight flush draws. Caesar, and now we've got Slick Jack with a pair of 9s and the cut-off. It's been the standard bet of 4 in this situation for everyone so far. Let's see what Slick Jack does. Aha. He did 4 as well. But he's walked into an ace, and well done, puts it down, no problem.
I'm back, James.
You fully back, or?
I've had quite a journey.
You look a bit
Beautiful?
weather-worn.
No.
Yeah.
Less beautiful, more weather-worn.
Yeah. It looks like it's been a sort of a hectic journey.
It's been quite a hectic journey, yeah.
Yeah. A fluctuating journey.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, some interesting hands.
I'm looking forward to see it.
We've got some mistakes by me and some good plays by me.
What, deliberate mistakes, just so you could teach
No.
people?
No, not deliberate. But there's a couple of nice plays as well. So
You
I
can
think
play
we'll...
Spot the Deliberate Mistake with Nick Wealthall.
Sure, it's not that difficult.
I'm looking forward to it. I think if you think it's quite a good one, that would be good.
I had some interesting situations. I think you'll see some, I think they'll learn some things from what I did and learn some things from what they shouldn't do that I did.
We've got to wait to see, did Nick improve his bank balance or not?
Well, it's not my balance, it was my bank balance. I'd have played much better, wouldn't I?
Did he improve his borrowed bank balance or not?
It's Poker Zone's money, mate.
Play for charity.
Best of a charity.
Johan, under the gun with 10 Jack, says, no, thank you. I want a trump. Limps with a pair of 7s and comes up against Slick Jack, who's got 10 Queen, but he's got an up and down straight. He checks. I wanna, just bets $1. There is a flush draw out there, but in fact, Slick Jack now says, take that, I'm raising here.
Take that.
I don't think you've got much. He's actually right, because there's 2 overcards, which has got I wanna in trouble, and Slick Jack sees the opportunity. A semi-bluff raise by Slick Jack there. Knew that he was probably behind, but knew that he could get fortunate and have the best hand. But thought that he wouldn't have to play that pot any further, and he was right.
Got lots of emails, guys. Thank you so much. We need through a few in a minute. Keep sending them in. Lots of time to get yours read out on TV, your query answered. And lots of people with an opportunity to talk less than charitably about my Beat the Presenter. I'm looking forward to the feedback.
Ooh.
I actually want a bit of aggro. I'm actually, because it's my last day for a month,
Right, yeah.
I'm spoiling
You
for a
want
fight.
it?
Yeah.
Well, you tried to sort of wind them up
I did
there,
try and wind them up, yeah.
but they didn't seem to
Oh,
bite.
they're too nice.
3 deuce deuce, 2 spades. Well, Phoebs has got 2 spades. Whoa, what is this? Johan here has re-raised to 12 just with the 2 pairs. twos and threes.
Oh, he hates that card. He
And
hates that
Feebster
card.
has got a tried to be tricky, but in fact that makes his situation even worse.
He's trying to bluff his way out of it.
Johan fell for that.
The ace of spades is the worst card in the deck because Feebster could easily have an ace, could easily have the flush draw. It's just a horrible card.
And I'm amazed that Johan tried. There he is there. He's raised with to 12 against the initial bet of 4 from Feebster. Can we see the next frame? And there we go. The aces come. Feebster has checked. And this is actually wrong-footed Johan. And there we go. On the end, another spade comes. He can't believe that Feebster's got it. He checked again, and Johan is whacked in 37. Well, Feebster, you completely bamboozled Johan there. Well done. I'm just a bit shocked by Johan there.
Well, he tried to power his way out of a bad situation, didn't he?
He did. I mean,
I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm just saying that's what he was trying to do. He just tried to bet his way out of a difficult situation.
but to give Feebster credit there, he actually slow played it to perfection in the end.
Yeah, he made a good check on the turn.
Yeah.
Especially knowing that
Check on the river.
Just knowing that Johan's an aggressive player.
Yeah.
Using aggression against them.
Johan's gone. He's disappeared. Nick.
Hmm?
Nick, Johan's left the planet.
Well, he's free to do that.
Okay.
Come and goes. He is a cash game, James. He's. And maybe he thinks that after that hand, he's going to find it hard to make people put down cards at his table, and
he's
he
just
doesn't
going
want
to have to
to
play very
here
tight
anymore.
or something. Yeah. He'd have to sort of re-establish his credibility.
I played very tight in the Beat the Presenter.
Did you? Very tight.
Yeah.
We'll have to see. Converse makes it $3.
He's going to get action as well.
He's got some action from I Wanna.
I don't like the call, no, and re-raise would be
What about the
better.
call from the King 5? You like that one?
Yeah, I'd call there with King 5, why not? Got 3-1 on your money, what's wrong?
Oops.
2-1 actually. I want to should have re-raised, I think, before the flop, because now it's slightly in no man's land.
Yeah, it's you hit this sort of flop with your pair of jacks, and you're obviously hoping this overpair is going to be great, but you've got sneaking doubts about what the initial raiser
I
had.
don't like calling there either.
Well, no spade in the hand either, so it means
Well, now what?
No, in fact, it's worse really because the pair of jacks there doesn't even enjoy the jack of spades coming over.
No, and now the king comes. Now what?
Well, that could be a reason to get away from it, I think. I mean, it's a double flush draw, and there's an overcard, and the initial raiser wants to play. Well, I think it's a pass. And
Do you think if most players never played a hand from the small blind, including big pairs, do you think they'd actually become more profitable players?
I don't think it's the optimum strategy, obviously.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
No, I know. Do I think that? I think a lot of players would improve their results.
Right.
Because a lot of the hands are very difficult to play. Obscure hands are difficult to play out of position. And if you're not an experienced player, I don't think in a money game you particularly want to be trying to play these obscure hands out of position. I think they are likely to get into trouble. So I think, yeah, valid point from you there.
Valid point. Guys, we're going to take some of your emails. Hello. We're going to take some of your emails. Carter's emailed in and says, hi Nick, if you want a fun multi-table tournament, there's a 10 quid buy-in. Probably too low for you. No, not after the Beat Presenter, mate. Come to Harrogate in North Yorkshire. Brilliant, there's a card club in Harrogate. I was born in Harrogate. Can't tell from the accent, can you? Beat it out of myself. Amazing what you can do when you apply yourself. No, I love Harrogate, of course. My hometown. Fantastic. I didn't even know there was a card club. Carter visited the Gut Shot recently, and the tournament he was in turned into a turbo tournament, which I don't think he enjoyed. So that's a quick tip, guys. If you're going to go and visit a card club, ring ahead. and find out what the structure is of a tournament, because it's the worst thing in the world when you go down and it turns out that it's a really fast structure, you don't get any play for your money and you've made the effort to go. He said, do bigger buy-ins have better structures? Well, they do, yeah. I have a lot of free time in the next 2 months. Can you recommend some good clubs to visit, card clubs to visit with relatively low buy-in multi-table tournaments? Any recommendations, James?
What, near Harrogate, or particularly?
Well, that would probably help him, but I guess generally.
I think probably for him near that area, I think you could probably there'd be some good, at least one good, really good structured tournament once a month at Sheffield. I think at Bonaparte's there. They do put on some very good festivals. They often have some 3-day poker festivals which are well worth attending. And I think if you check up there, I'm sure that at least once a month they'll have a pretty decent structured tournament. That's relatively near for Harrogate, isn't it?
Good recommendation, excellent. Yeah, the bigger buy-ins will have better structures generally because, well, you should get more bang for your buck, but also your registration fee will normally be a percentage of the buy-in, and that pays for the dealers, so you get a longer tournament if you're giving more money to the casino. Yeah. That's generally speaking.
Generally. The exception is, of course, in the northeast of England, which is poker heaven. And because there's so many casinos there and they compete with each other, they've listened that people actually do like more chips. And actually, the latest casino there is Bannatyne's, who are actually having a £20 tournament where they give you 4,000 chips, I think.
It's all right, isn't it? That's another recommendation for you, Carter. The horse buy-in event in Las Vegas, 50,000 buy-in, $2,000 registration fee, $2,000 to play in it, over and above the buy-in.
Wow.
I'm sorry, I'd want a free wife for that, let alone a buffet.
That'd be distracting, wouldn't it?
Robert emails in and says, can you tell me why 2-2 is more of an underdog than to ace-queen? I'm sorry, Robert. Why 2-2 is more of an underdog to ace-king than queen-queen is? Isn't it the same chance to hit a deuce and hit a queen? Well, no, basically you've got 2 queens, and those are 2 of the cards that the ace-king needs to make a straight. So you reduce the chances of the ace-king making a straight, which means that queen-queen has a better chance. Right? Yeah. Always look to my man James for technical confirmation. We asked if anyone knew people who are at the WSOP, and some of you do. Fantastic.
Good.
James knows someone that's got lots of chips. Snappit's emailed in. Nice to hear from you, Snappit. He says, first time for a while. Snappit, of course, winner of our Poker Night Live Viewers Tournament live in the studio. Thought I'd have a game, watch the show. A guy I play with regularly at the circus in Birmingham's at the WSOP. His name is John Hopkins. A very good player.
I know him. I know him, yes.
You know everyone.
He's been around a long, long time. He certainly is a really good tournament player, John Hopkins. And I would wish him all the best. He's a really nice guy too.
He won his seat through the league at the Broadway Casino. Don't know how he's doing, but wish him well. Cool. Yeah, I mean, keep us updated. It'd be brilliant if some people that viewers knew got deep into the tournament.
John Hopkins, I mean, very solid tournament player. He's been playing for absolutely donkey's years. He actually was one of the ones who played at the Rainbow Casino, which really was the birth of tournament poker in Great Britain. They were the casino which had the biggest influence on tournament poker in the whole country. And he used to play there right from the start. John Hopkins, good luck, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, so many topics for you to email in on tonight. World Series of Poker, the biggest tournament in history, is going down at the moment. Any views you've got on that, get them into us. Who would you like to win it, for example? If you know anyone out there, let us know. I'm off for a month. What should I do in that month? Shall I come to your card club? In the chat box, there are a couple of ideas for events for me to play. I'd like to hear them. You've got to email the show. I was giving all my energies to the tournament, you understand that. There's the contact details on screen. After the break, we're going to watch my beat the presenter, and we're going to learn a lot from my play. Some positive, some negative. Keep the emails coming in, stay tuned with a multi-table tournament still to come. Lots more poker after this. And so I dumped her. Welcome back to Poker Night Live. This is the second half of tonight's show. You won't believe this. This is the better half. I bet you're glad you stayed up. Got a lot to come, haven't we, James?
Loads.
Packed. Bursting at some seams.
Beat the presenter.
Beat the presenter.
He was the presenter.
I'll tell you what, you'll see some interesting play, unlike when some of these ABC Browning berry types do. We got to go straight to beat the presenter. Otherwise, my producer will die of a heart attack. So let's go to that. We'll do your emails in a little bit. Keep them coming with you a lot in the last hour, I promise. poker@pokerlightlive.co.uk. There I am.
Here we are at Beat the Presenter, and we can tell you that Nick is actually not playing under disguise. He's playing as Nick W.
Yes, Nick W there. Folding Queen A. I won't be doing that again.
Tony Kendall played on your account the other day.
Did he? I bet he played better than me.
He made you a few...
Can I just... I've gone in with a game plan.
Ah!
Which, for all joking aside...
Premeditated?
Yes. I've watched a lot of these. I haven't played too many because...
you've been lying in wait, right? Yeah.
Not really.
Like a tiger in the
But
long
basically,
grass.
what I've seen is people play very tight in them, and then it turns into a crapshoot later on.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
And I wanted to avoid that.
So
or I wanted to try to avoid
recreate.
that. So I wanted to play a lot of hands.
Right.
And I wanted to try and get some chips early.
Okay.
Okay?
So you decided to limp in with 8-9.
Yeah, which I wish I'd raised, actually. I mean, obviously there's big hands behind me, but I don't know that at the time. Usually I'd raise when I come in, but I was a bit phased. Because we just started. But obviously 2 big hands.
A raise and a calling of the raise. And you'd have hit your 9, but...
What do you think of my game plan? You hate it, don't you?
I don't mind. I mean, I can limp with 8-9 in latest position, so...
I do far worse than that.
And here we go. Ace King has done a continuation bet, but it's been sniffed out by the Jacks, who's popped in the raise and has now got off to a lovely start.
Heart in
He's
mouth.
got 2,430.
Heart in mouth time with the Jacks, isn't it?
And what I'd like to point out here is that the person who's got chips actually just had a genuine hand,
Unlike me.
who's now gone in with Jack 4.
Jack
He's
4.
definitely got some
It's a good play, right?
a difficult hand to play.
It's an easy hand to play, look.
I'm not quite sure if you'll know where you are.
Well, I know where I am here, because there's 2 blinds, they both check. Nobody's got an ace, right? Neither
Well,
of
that's
these
good
players are
thinking.
checking with an ace, so I think this is my pot to pick up.
60 in the middle, you bet 45. I like the price of the bet.
I just want to try and play a lot of small pots, that's my plan. I want to play a lot of small pots, unless I flop a big hand, in which case I'm prepared to play a big pot.
Right. I like that. I like that in the end anyway. I like the
That's
way
my game plan.
you had position, and I like the size of your bet. It didn't look like you were desperate to chuck them out. Looked like you probably had a bit of a hand, and they passed.
And I honestly think my game plan would have worked if I hadn't misplayed one crucial hand, which
Don't tell us yet.
you know, I will. You'll see it when it happens. But I played it horribly. I'm more than happy to admit that.
It's a raise from Likey with the 6s. Nick Wealthall, Kojak suited. Best hand he's had so far.
Yeah, we'll have a look with that.
Just calls. And bet the lot. Is he going to? He's got a pair of deuces. No, he doesn't. And we've got a flop. 995. We can see that bet the lot is winning with his pair of 2s. But it's
Yeah, but I'm
been
taking this pot away.
checked by Jambo. And it's up to Nick W, who's now wants to win lots of pots. He's now bet 60. Pair of 2s passes. Jambo passes. And Nick pinches another one.
See, all going to plan. It's going brilliantly. $70 profit. Is it dollars? Surely. I was looking for the cash out button.
Well,
Oh, look at this. Ace, queen all over the place. And the 9s are still winning. Great flop for a pair of nines when you've raised and been called in 2 places. Gotta love that.
Ace Jack's raised it 4 times the big blind, 80 with Ace Jack. Nick on the small blind. No, decides not to try anything too spectacular there.
Think. Now, let me talk you through this one.
Okay, we've got Likey there, has made it 60.
No offence, Likey, but there's 2 or 3 players on this table, Jambo's on the other ones, that I think I can take pots away from. So I'm happy to play pots against them. Because I've seen them fold their blinds, I've seen them play before on Poker Night Live, and also I'm going to play position in this game. And the only thing I did wrong in this hand is I didn't follow through, because I thought he was weak and I should have raised. I played to raise after the flop and then I didn't go through with it, so that was a mistake.
Well, you should have re-raised him when he bet there.
Yeah, because he's probably making a continuation bet.
Which he was, and you would have won it.
I would have won it. So that's an exercise in having a game plan and not executing.
Okay.
James is starting to feel sick. You hate my play so far, don't you?
Well, no, I can see where you're coming from, but I'm just looking at the reality of it. Is that at your peak here, you had 2,070, and you had to, you had to operate, you had to operate 2 bluffs to get this magnificent sum.
Ideal in realities. I've raised a 7-5 off. What's wrong with that? See, the thing is, I know these players are only going to play real hands against me.
Okay.
We've watched months of Beat the Presenter now, and that's what's happened. Very, very little playing back against the presenter. Very, very tight tables, unless they've got a hand. And I don't mind. I really, really don't care about risking a few chips at this level. I'm not going to go broke. Okay, now here's the hand.
Let's have a look at this. Nick's got a real hand this time.
Yeah, and I play it badly.
Now Jambo's got a real hand. We've got 2 ace-king suited, and now he's made it 120. It's a big bet actually, because the blinds are only 10-20. That's 6 times the big blind.
Yeah, and I clocked that, and I thought...
chunky bet.
I thought I'd put him on either 2 big cards or a middle pair. I thought he hasn't got aces, he hasn't got kings, he hasn't got jacks.
Yes, it looks a bit like a pair that he's got, doesn't it? Really,
yeah, it does,
I think.
Anyway, I hate the re-raise. I hate it. It's a terrible play, and I wish I hadn't made it. And I wouldn't have made it at home. And he's come back over the top of me, but he's only come back over the top of me from minimum, so now it cost me 400 to see the flop. So I'm getting 2.5 to 1 on my money now.
Well, no, it's not the minimum re-raise he's done.
Okay, well, anyway, look, I'm getting 2.5 to 1 to call and see the flop. And I've got position on him, so I'm not putting it down before the flop because I've got 1,200 left in my stack. If I have to fold now, the blinds are thingy. And
he's bet all in, which is a good play really, because he's just now really...
Is it a good play though? I had a question mark about that. I thought if he has got 2 big cards, is that a good play? Because I've re-raised him. He's come back over the top of me, and I've called him.
He's represented. He's done everything he can to represent that he's got a pair.
But how does he not know that?
Because you didn't.
I have a pair.
Because you didn't re-raise him.
I suppose so. I suppose so. But if I had aces or kings, I would have played it that way. How I played the ace king. I'm not defending my play.
Yes.
Because I think I misplayed the hand. But I'm just interested in whether he misplayed the hand.
I just think that because he's put the re-raise in there, and you didn't respond at all. He's taken that well. And he's done everything he can to represent that he's got a very strong hand.
Yeah,
and so
I just think that's. I'm glad the hand came up. I'm not glad I played it that way because it's a horrible play, but I'm glad the hand came up because we were talking earlier about controlling the pot size. And I think it's early in the tournament. I've got ace king. I think I should just call his raise. I think that's the right play. Before his first raise, I'm talking about. What do you think?
I think generally in this early stage here, I don't mind you limping in there, and I don't mind you sniffing out situations where you believe you're winning the pot and betting, and then taking it down. Because in those situations, if they then come back over the top of you, you know exactly where you are, and you put the hand down. But you can probably splash around a bit and take a few pots. I don't mind you limping in because you might actually hit a monster flop, and that's great. But I'm not keen on you all of a sudden cranking up the size of the pot
Hmm.
in a pot where you're now prepared to put the thing down. And
I think it's terrible play.
that's why I don't like it.
No, I agree. I'm with you 100%.
I don't like it for that reason.
And I hope-
Whereas the splashing, limping in with peculiar hands, and I didn't actually, I wasn't keen on that. I wasn't keen on it actually even raising up to 50 out of position, particularly with 5-7 or whatever you had, funny or 4-5 or something. Not mad keen on that. I would prefer you limped in and even called a raise with it. Rather than opening the door for a re-raise, which you can't call, so you don't even get to see the flop and you've just frittered more money away.
Absolutely, yeah. I couldn't agree more.
So again, I would prefer to see you even call a raise with some funny cards because you're representing something stronger.
I'm a stupid, useless, ridiculously attractive poker player. I can't...
No, listen, I like the way you spotted the
Stay tuned, because you'll like a couple of the plays later.
Okay. No, I liked a couple of the plays. I thought you saw where you felt you were winning. Or no, you felt that they were weak and you took advantage of those. I thought they were quite cute. But my only problem is that the reward wasn't that big anyway. And that's my problem. So therefore, it's a whole risk-reward.
No, I mean, I had a game plan. I didn't stick to my game plan.
Right.
My game plan was to splash about early. Obviously, the idea is that you hit a monster hand with cards that can't be read.
Yes.
That's the idea. The other benefit is that I have a loose image going into the end game.
Yeah.
And so, you know,
And then try and change it.
Maybe try and change it, or I get paid when I have a real hand.
Yeah.
So those are the benefits. I made a massive mistake by playing a big pot when I didn't have a hand that I was willing to commit all my chips with, which was the only time I wanted to play a big pot. So I wasn't thinking in the moment there with the ace-king. And that basically kiboshed my tournament, because now I can still come back.
Of course you can come back.
I still come back,
But
and that's why I ended
now.
up picking up. I'm wounded, and I can't. It's now very difficult for me to play that strategy. I've now got to change my game.
Well, no, you can't afford to play that
No, I
strategy
can't.
now because you haven't got enough chips.
Don't worry, I don't.
Obviously, because you can't afford a limp or particularly or anything. All that's gone. The restrictions, basically. So, I'm not totally against with what you've done. I mean, obviously, I don't like that hand you play, but I'm not totally against it. As I said, I don't mind being experimental a bit, but anyway, the real nitty gritty is now. Whatever happens before, we have to forget.
Absolutely.
And we say, right, Nick Wealthall, how many chips have you got? I've got 1150. What are the blinds? We're on the second level. It's 2040. Can you afford to be splashing around? No, I can't.
Yeah, I can. I still can, I think. To a certain extent. What I can't afford to do is...
I don't mind this.
No. I've still got, what is it, 26, 27 times the big blind or something. So... I can still see some flops if they'll let me.
You can still see some flops, but I mean, you really need to try and.
Oh, this is a great hand. Watch this. So I flopped an open-ended straight draw.
Yeah.
So I'm going to bet it.
100 in the pot. Bets 80.
Let's see how much you hate this play. And Tyreek goes under the
Wow,
top.
they all want to re-raise you.
I know they do, and that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, this guy's trying to push me around, and he may have a queen, but I don't think he can call them all in.
Pushed it all in.
Because I don't think he can call, unless he's flopped something massive, in which case he wouldn't check raise, he'd just call me on the flop. So he's played it fast, and so I don't think he's got a massive hand. I don't think he can call. If he does call, I've got outs. That's my thinking.
You spied that one. Well, as it happens, you're probably fortunate that Terade rather has done this with an underpair, because he's actually been quite chirpy, hasn't he? Because there's 3 overcards to him there anyway. So there's a lot of things he doesn't like about this. 1, there's a possible straight draw. 2, there's a possible flush draw. 3, he's got 3 overcards. I mean,
when he check
for made
raised,
hands, obviously this is as bad as it gets for him. But
when he check raised, I put him on. I put the chances of him being on various hands at roughly this. I thought probably maybe something like 40% a weak queen, something like 35% a flush draw, and something like 25% bullying me.
Actually, you've got every reason to think he could have one of those, because the thing is, he was on the big blind, wasn't he?
He's on the big blind. He didn't raise out of the big blind, so I don't put him on ace queen.
So he didn't have to have a big hand.
No, and if he's flopped a set or if he's flopped 2 pair, I just don't think he check raises there. I think he calls.
Yes.
So I'm willing to back my judgment, and
I like that bit of analysis by Nick there. He actually thought that he couldn't have the massive hand because he'd have been playing it far trickier, because he'd be desperate to get the chips off Nick.
I think so.
So that is like the little tell he had, which proved that he didn't have the monster. And because he didn't have the monster, that helped Nick to make this aggressive re-raise all-in play.
I mean, you know...
The other thing is basically is the fact that he was on this big blind. He could well have any funny hand. Of course, he could have a hand like Queen 5, but I mean, he could have had something like Queen 7 and trying to push Nick off the hand with the Queen 7 or something.
I might have got unlucky. He might have flopped a monster, but do you know what? Sometimes that happens in tournaments. If you can't be scared of them flopping a monster. You've got to analyse the situation and say, what are the chances of having flopped a monster and played like that? And I thought it was quite a low probability, so I backed that judgment, and luckily enough, I was right.
Okay. Interesting
hand. This one I'm up against the nuts, which is great. I limped, we didn't see this, I limped from the button, as I like to do when the blinds are small, and I put a bet out on the flop, which he called, and now he wants to bet out, and obviously I don't want anything to do with it. I can't, I'm not going to try. There's so much on the board, I'm not going to try and move him off this one.
Well, yeah, it's a nightmare board. Any jack, of course, gives him a straight, and they're all overcards for you. I mean, there's no way in any stretch of the imagination can you believe you're winning. Or able to push him off a hand, because it's so scary a flop that if someone bets it, that they've probably got the really good part of it.
Yeah.
And that is a good thing for people to remember. If a flop is scary and someone bets into the scary flop, this guy probably has a pretty big hand, because there's lots of hands to worry about there.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't look too worried, wow, put that hand ranking way up there.
Yeah. I just stole the blinds. Don't want to brag, but I did.
You just
stole the blinds. So I'm...
Now?
I just did last hand.
Oh, right, sorry.
So basically I'm just battling away at the moment.
Yep, you're still in trouble at the minute, because the blinds have gone up to 4080, you're down to 1300.
And my philosophy is I still want to try and move chips if I can. My manoeuvrability is reduced, but I still don't particularly want to sit on them. I've still got a bit of wriggle room. I've still got 15, 16 times the big blind. And Advanced Sally makes the big re-raise, quite right too, the ace-king. I still want to try and find opportunities to make chips if I can, because the blinds are going to go up so fast. If it was a slower tournament, if it was an MTT and I had this many chips versus the blinds, I'd have slowed right down. I'd be trying to build up some chips.
Can I ask you a question? How many of these players do you think are playing very solidly and waiting for hands?
Almost all of them. All of them. In fact, have we seen a single player make a move without a hand? I don't think we've seen anybody. Tyrade made the move against me with the twos, and likey serve.
Well, ace-king re-raised you off the pot with no hand.
Yeah, it's not a massive move, is it? Well, I actually think...
I think it was quite a big play.
I've got to be honest with you, I think it's a bad play. And, you know, I thought my play in the hand was bad, I thought Jambo's play in the hand was bad.
So therefore it must have been quite a big play then?
I just thought it was bad play. I'm not going to sit on the fence, I don't like to do that. I thought we both misplayed the hand, if I'm honest. I did not like either people's play.
Nick passes the Queen 10 under the gun, and...
well, monthly pass keeps getting hands. It's ridiculous. He's had kings twice and jacks, and wow. So now this is a situation here.
So we've had under the gun 3 times the big blind raise from Aunt Sally.
Yeah, and I seriously thought about moving in.
Wow.
Because I think Aunt Sally will fold anything except aces, kings and queens.
With the under the gun raise?
Yeah. I seriously thought about it. I didn't do it. Don't, just relax. But I think it's an option.
Well, I think it's probably one of the poorer hands Aunt Sally would have.
I've seen her do this with nines. She's now done it with ace-jack. I was seriously, I was very close to doing it. I didn't do it, James. Relax.
No, I know you didn't.
Relax, breathe.
No. Right, what's Ansali going to bet?
The re-raise is coming.
Yeah, made it 320.
And Chelsea's getting odds to call there, so I don't mind that.
Chelsea's pinged the ace. Unlucky for Ansali there. It's what you're going to do. First to speak. But there's 2 overcards there.
Well, maybe if she'd bet more on... I think we know it's a he. Maybe if Ansali had bet more, Chelsea might have folded. It looked a bit weak, didn't it, that bet? Ansali took some time and then put out a very small bet. I wonder if Chelsea, did you have that read? Because if not, Chelsea's massively overplayed the hand because she could be in horrible trouble there.
I think just trying to get rid of aces with poor kickers, Chelsea. But actually, I don't believe that an ace with a poor kicker by Ansali under the gun, wouldn't have had that hand. So I think Chelsea possibly is thinking that, and that has actually put Ansali on a pair.
Yeah. So I limped on the button again. Can't remember what happens. Oh, I'm going to bet, definitely.
Yep.
Just like I'm like a man clinging to a rock face with my little worn-out fingernails.
Cut off 4-jack for
Yeah,
Nick.
there's a raise coming here, surely.
320.
195. Just been a little raise. I don't know if I want my chips at risk, but I want to build chips. Okay, so here we go. I think this is the hand. So Chelsea, the pot's 420, and Chelsea makes a small bet here, and I think that's a tiny
80.
bet.
It
So
is a tiny bet.
my plan is I'm going to call this and take it off her on the turn.
Ah, right.
That's my plan, and that's a beautiful card for me to do that. She checks. I think that she doesn't have anything.
Now, I do like this. I do like this.
I thought you'd like that one.
The reason is because you just didn't sort of brutishly play the pot. What you did was you actually gave yourself time. You represented strength in a different way there.
Yeah.
And also you gave yourself to really find out further where you were.
If she puts in a...
You got the extra clue.
If she puts in a decent bet on the turn, obviously I'm not going to try and take the pot away.
Yeah. And the person's given you the chance there by putting in this weakish bet.
Yeah.
You've just called it. And then, of course, when that card comes the 5, of course, you could well have called us even with the bottom pair or something, because you say that bet's so cheap, I can call it.
Yeah.
So that card becomes frightening for the initial better anyway.
Yeah, well,
I did. That play of that pot is actually wiped away.
Well, it's just using position, and it's a nice play to add to your armoury. I also
I did like that play.
I also it's particularly good on 2 flush boards, because obviously if the flush card comes, it's a great card for me.
Ace King.
Ace King, and I'm clawing my way back, James. It's exciting, isn't it?
You are. You had 1755 there.
Now, what's Tyree going to do with his 8s? 3 options, I think.
Well, he normally re-raises you.
He does. I think I paralysed him with the last hand, to be honest.
He passes it.
Yeah. Now this is beautiful, and I think I'm a little bit unlucky here. I've just won 2 pots in a row.
And now you find a real
And now I find
big
kings.
hand.
So in the chat box I'm saying, you guys are so tight, I'm bullying you guys, blah, blah,
Right.
blah, blah. I'm desperate for action. I can't believe no one wants to re-raise me. I'm gutted. I'm distraught.
You must have a tell.
I cannot tell. It's going in the chat box and saying you guys are...
Exactly.
Anyway, I'm back to 2,000 chips, so
And look at
all
this
is
from
not
Chelsea.
lost.
Chelsea's raised up to 320 with the ace-9 suited. Well, Mr. Wealthall's not going to look at that one, I don't believe it.
No, of course I'm not.
Because it's 8160, that's quite a chunk for him to call.
Well, we're
try
in...
any monkey tricks.
Yeah, we're in blinds. We're already in blind nightmare trouble here, aren't we? Because most people have got between 10 and 15 times the big blinds. It's already getting short stacked.
Like he's raised it with the king-queen. Nick's passed a pair of twos.
Never thought you'd see the day, did you? Past a pair.
And Sally's picked up a pair now, a pair of tens, and look, we've got this classic encounter there.
Look at these boys keep getting hands in the blinds.
Monty pot. Oh! Ah, just a call with Jack Deuce.
I've run into big hands.
Again,
The thing is, I
raise.
don't like stealing the blinds when the blinds are very big compared to your stack, because
You get committed. Well,
you can get committed.
more or less
yeah,
committed, yeah.
And I think a better way to take advantage of your position is to play a pot with them.
I think so.
Anyway, two big hands going at it. Aunt Sally can get away from it now. Month's Past could have called that bet on the flop, actually, and to make sure of getting the rest. But I guess he's a bit unlucky that Aunt Sally isn't going to call. Wouldn't be surprised to see me play this, I've got to be honest.
Cut off position 8 Jack. Well, I think
Doesn't play it. I'm quite surprised. Month's Past has got the big stack, so Chelsea's going to respect that, but she has flopped an ace, so should be her pot. And it is. Aces for Chelsea. I haven't raised a pot for about 3 hands, so you've got to imagine that's coming soon.
17-15 Nick's got. Blinds 81-60.
I'm going to steal here. You can see me. You can see the wheels churning.
King 7 in cut off plus
Nobody,
1.
and you know, I'll defend the play because nobody's played back at me without a hand. And I'm thinking, unless they have a big hand, they're not going to play. And Chelsea's found aces, so that's bad for Nick.
Very bad for Nick. But
I'm not thinking about anything here. I'm just taking some time. So
you're back down to 13.35 again.
yeah.
Well, it's tough, isn't it?
Well, people found pairs behind me a lot, and that's, you know, difficult to play. Chelsea's going to raise the blinds here. I'll probably take them.
What price? 320 flat raise. 160 with 160.
Yeah, and that's the interesting thing about these sit and goes, isn't it? When the blinds get big, the flat raises work, basically.
And I think that's, I mean, I said this a long time ago, I think that certainly in the multi-table tournaments, if you chip leader, you can resort to flat raises because you're just saying enough. You say, I'm raising, and look at these amount of chips I've got. The next bet could be very big.
Yeah.
It's like an implied threat you've got over people.
Yeah.
And Bet the Lot has put a little raise in there and took down the blinds. So a nice little play there. Nick passed there, but I'm not sure what he had. He went so quick.
Hard to believe. We're now, I mean, I've got less than 10 big blinds left, so it's very unlikely I'm going to play a pot without being willing to commit all my chips to it.
I think you're right, because each round is going to cost you 240. So basically, you've just got over 5 rounds of play on the total blinds. So if you imagined even putting a raise in, that would be 320.
Oh, nice steal from Likey. He's going to try again. He is going to try again.
Makes it 480.
What can I do?
Nick Wealthall, King 9.
I can go all in or pass, basically. And things are getting desperate.
Yep. Some of the bravado has been knocked out of Mr. Wealthall now, I think.
Yeah, you'd be surprised.
All right.
No.
Bet the lot.
There's very, very little you can do. Jumbo's going to probably come over the top.
He does.
Absolutely.
Strong bet.
And Bet the Lot's in a horrible situation, really. If he passes, he's got 12.25 left. So marginal. The blinds are about to go up. We can see Jumbo had queens. It's already we're getting into the realms of two-card poker, basically. And when did we last see a flop? A long time ago.
Bet a lot, of course. Just type in the chat box.
I folded Queen 8 suited there. Basically, I'm either all in or I'm passing, and I probably should have gone all in, but I didn't.
I mean, blinds are 163.20 now. I mean, you've got no time.
Yeah, I need a hand.
So that was that time you had Queen. Just now you had Queen 8, did he?
On the button, yeah. I just had month pass has got so many chips. I figured he'd call with any two. It was borderline Queen A, and I just didn't think it was quite there.
Right, we'll be looking for when Nick makes a move here.
Well, it's got to be soon.
Well, good job you didn't make it there.
I know. Month pass has just had cards to die
Yeah,
for.
but
not got the
he
action.
hasn't had aces so many times. It's mainly kings. Seem to be homing into that top corner there, those cards. Unbelievable.
I know.
Jack 5, that's no good.
That's no good.
Well, I don't like this. We're
Well,
edging closer to the big blind.
we're gambling time, aren't we?
I think the jury's out about the Queen 8. I think.
Yeah. I'm happy to concede. I should have possibly played
Well,
that.
what do you got now? You've got ace here.
Well, I knew I was going to get ace-3.
Yeah,
see.
I agree with that. That's going to be better than an average hand on the big blind. People have still got to put 1,000 in there.
Now, I think Likey Serve's probably thinking...
And a good bet by Nick.
I think Likey Serve's thinking there that he can see I'm going to pick the big blind next hand. So he might be thinking that I've made a move with any two. But as we could see, I was slightly ahead of him.
Yeah. No, I think it's a good bet by you. Ace-3 suited in that situation. Better than you can hope for. You don't want to just go down to a voluntary hand and the big blind. Because if anyone calls, you're not going to get rid of them. Very little fold equity if anyone just calls the big blind. Now you've got another hand now. King, Queen.
Oh, wow, I'm glad month past ace-9.
And I
It's a
presume you're going to
no-brainer,
push,
isn't it?
push
Yeah.
again here. And you do. And Aunt Sally can't call that one.
Come on, Nick, we're all behind you. She's only got 640 chips left. Horrible situation. Should probably call with a little bit more.
Well, what's going on here? You've become a card rack.
Well, here we go, James. This is a fascinating one. What do you do here? Watch this.
Oh my goodness, just when you see a big hand on the button, you're jumping up for joy.
Well, Chelsea's been playing quite tight.
And then there's a raise here from Chelsea to 1280.
Yeah. And if Chelsea just raises,
So it's
I've got
four times the big blind raise.
I have to play. I
Quite
mean,
serious.
I
Oh
have to
my
play.
goodness.
Now what?
Now you've got to put it down.
It's horrible because Ace-King is probably the biggest hand I'm going to see between now and the end of the tournament. But it doesn't play well against two opponents. And Chelsea, I respect her raises. She doesn't
I just think
mess
with
about.
the two big bets there, not because I can see it, you know,
You
I
put
think
it
you've
down,
got to
wouldn't
expect
you?
there's a big pair out there. It's
I always knew I was going to fold it, by the way. That time bar you saw going
Yeah.
down there, that was just me swearing quietly.
I think in that situation there, you've still got a chance to.
Lots of outs for Likey.
Yeah, got a flush draw.
And the ace is working. Doesn't happen.
No, 2 9s, 2 7s with an ace for Likey, but
Unlucky
it's
Likey.
2 9s, 2 queens for Chelsea.
Likey didn't get many cards, but at least Likey was prepared to make some moves and try and make circumstances good for himself. He wasn't just playing his cards. I think a difficult one. I don't know about his.
What did
play
you have
there.
this hand? I missed it.
Don't know. Tirade moved all in. I didn't have anything.
Hello.
Ace King.
That's
now,
a nice one.
Now, I think I should have just double raised here.
No, I don't think you do.
You think I should push?
No, not at all.
You think?
No, not at all. The reason
You
is
sure? I think I probably want action.
no. You've got
Okay.
480 in the middle. You've only got 1500. You're increasing your stack by a really good
No,
percentage.
I mean
there.
no. All my chips are going in.
Yeah, but there's no hand. You're not going to. No hand's going to. If you work out the percentage advantage you've got over your opponent, it's not going to be worth as much as you taking the blind.
Yeah, beautifully analysed.
And that's the key to it.
Like I said, I knew all in was the right thing there. That's why I did it.
But that is the key. When those blinds are that chunky, that's it. We've got to imagine an encounter. What percentage advantage that encounter is?
Yeah.
It's not going to match this.
Yeah.
You know, can you imagine he's got 10-8, you know, you're only a 64-36 situation.
Sure.
Worry, you're not going to be making 480 on average. I'm just recapping that because that is an important situation. That's an important thing to think about.
Definitely. So I took that one down. My situation still isn't great though. 2,000 chips. Chelsea knocks out Aunt Sally. 2,000 chips, so I'm alive. I mean, we can all remember when I was a dying man, but the blinds are going to go up, and they have gone up. So, I mean, it's silly now, isn't it?
Well, this is nightmare now. It's 960 a throw. Now, you've got... Okay, and...
Well, if anyone else but Chelsea had raised, I might have pushed all in here, because if she's got something like ace-2, I've got about a 40-odd% chance to win the pot, and I'm getting odds to do that. But I thought that Chelsea wasn't making raises with anything other than hands.
Right, okay, in that case, then you know you're in bad shape. And that's it, you've got to analyse what sort of hands your opponent is making the bet with.
But I hate it, because I know what I'm doing to myself. I fold the big blind, and now look, I've got
look at that, you found
chips.
A cracker.
Well, I'm lucky, aren't I?
Well, you are lucky. Oh, what's happened
and
there?
And now what? That lot's gone in.
Goodness.
And now I don't. Now I need a sit and go specialist to tell me what to do here.
Well, I think I'm tempted to play.
Well, I think I was tempted to play.
I play it. The reason is you've only got 1,000 chips left. It's 320, 640. Time's running out. I'm gonna have to play it, I think.
That was an interesting one. I told you, it's thrown up a lot of interesting hands.
The reason why I play it is because the biggish cards. You are suited, which I quite like at the time. Possible straight situations, etc., etc. We had King 5 there.
King 5, yeah.
Different scenario there. But that King Jack suited does play quite well against a couple of people.
Sure. Well, I'm winging a prayer now. There is no analysis left to be had. Chelsea just keeps picking up hands.
Yeah.
Extraordinary. I thought she was playing really well. She wasn't at all. She was picking up hands. Not saying she doesn't play well. When she played the MTTs, I liked her game a lot. But in this one, just hand up.
Hey, here we go. All-in-ski.
All-in-ski. I must get called, surely.
Well, you don't want many callers here. Oh.
Tyro's called.
Well, what a marvellous situation for you. 7s against ace-5.
Good situation. Don't like the 5.
Oh, no, 4.
I've got the diamonds covered, so he's only got 4 rounds.
Oh, look at this. Like a Rolls Royce.
So I've doubled through, which is nice. And if it's folded round to me, I'm pushing here. I can't remember what happened.
Jambo.
It's not folded to me, so now I'm out because I don't want to play that. But I would have pushed otherwise.
You don't want to play that because you've actually, Jambo's committed all in and now you've got to beat the person.
And
you've got a better position with your chips. You've got better use for your chips and calling there.
Yeah. And I hate the fact that Jambo's won that. That's very bad for my prospects of cashing.
Yeah, you were wishing Jambo bad luck.
I'm afraid so.
Right, let's have a look at this one. Well, here's definitely a situation for Nick now, in my book.
Well, I'm pushing, aren't I?
I think so.
I hope I do, yeah.
Yes. All in's the correct play there for me.
Suddenly,
look at that, you've just captured 960.
Beautiful.
What a bargain. And here's Nick again, I presume. Should be attacking.
I think I played this one.
Ah.
Don't think I played that
Why
one.
not?
I just thought bet the lot and month pars, one of the two of them was going to play, and...
You've got an ace against a random hand.
Sure.
I think a missed opportunity.
I'm going to do it again now. You'll hate this.
I think a missed opportunity. You see, the thing, the blinds are so big now.
You would play any ace?
Well, there, because the blinds are so big, it's 326.40.
Yeah, I understand that.
And in that the one before there, you were even a little bit later position than this last one. Never mind, you found a real hand now. So
I found a real hand. Well, look at this. This is beautiful. I'm going to win the sit and go.
you are.
All my battling from short stack early on is worthwhile because I'm going to take this down.
Yeah, you are. Look at this.
Fantastic
You've got it
situation.
cooked.
I've got them all. I'm going to triple up. I'm not going to triple up.
Well, 8, but it's not the end of the world.
It is.
Oh, now trip 10s. Well, it's not the end of the world.
It is.
It is the end of the world.
And Jambo.
Well, you found a lovely situation. You've still got chips, though. This could be the most amazing comeback.
I've got ace king.
I can see it all coming here.
I'm going to come back.
2-4. I'm going to write down how many chips you got, actually. 245.
This is going to be the greatest comeback ever. No, it's not.
Ever seen. Ace king.
No, it's not.
It's a flush draw and a pair.
Ace or a king that isn't a diamond.
And a diamond flush.
Month pass has eaten me alive.
Don't have much success with ace kings, really, do you?
No, ace king really did hurt me. So we think. I think
you missed a bet.
I think I missed a bet with the lone ace.
Were you thinking about it now?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Just because we're at super tax level, more or less. I mean, we're super tax now, but we were on very high tax level before.
Jambo's won with the flush to crack Chelsea's ace king. Chelsea's cards are amazing, but didn't help too much. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, I missed a bet. And I think we all agree. I think we all agree I misplayed the ace king early on. That was horrible, and threw up a lot of interesting hands. And I'm glad I was able to show a couple of plays early on that perhaps were things that people could put in their armoury or think about as well.
And let's just expand on that misbet a little bit.
Do we have to, James?
No, we do.
Well, I think this time would be better spent expanding on some of the great plays I made.
We're going to talk about some of the great plays.
I'm going to browse the web, or do you expand on the mistake I made?
No, I want you to join in with me.
Right.
No, it's just what we touched on before.
Sure.
Is that although you had the great hand of a pair of kings, when you pushed your money in with the pair of kings,
yeah,
you knew this was a showdown.
Look at this. Month pass. Horrific outdraw for Chelsea. This is absolutely extraordinary. Chelsea's had maybe 10 premium hands.
Yeah.
Extraordinary. And she's now the short stack, which shows what a lottery these sit and goes are.
When you had the pair of kings and you had this lovely situation. Oh, just watch this hand here now.
That's astonishing that Chelsea hasn't cashed. There's no criticism of Chelsea. I don't think she could have played much different. A couple of her big hands got cracked later on, but to have that many hands and not cash is so unlikely.
There's too much action here. I'm going to finish my little story after this because I think it's going to move along very quickly now at this super tax level.
I think they should put the blinds up.
Because Nick's not in, he doesn't want to play anymore.
Yeah. That's right, yeah.
That's right, yeah. You're very lucky that Nick's going to watch the end of it.
I'm not watching. What are you talking about?
6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, well, the ace is good enough.
And the
Still
ace
good enough.
is good enough. And the Jambo very weak there now. Pair of threes. Whacks it all in. Now nothing else to do. And Month has just called.
Should have gone all in, yeah?
No, I think it's.
Oh, should have.
I think it's like an official. Oh, I think he was hoping it was going to be an official agreement that there was no more betting, just to wipe Jambo out, but it didn't happen.
Yeah.
But as it happens, Jambo survived, and now Month is really cursing. Jambo very aggressive, but 4's been hit by Bet the Lot. Got a straight draw as well. 6 or 9 is needed, it's not there, and we lose a player. Jambo has gone out in 3rd place. Bet the Lot's got over 9,000.
Come on, lads. Seriously, got emails to do. Do they not know?
They don't know.
Well, it's all very exciting and dramatic, but I can't help feeling that the real entertainment ended a little while ago. Thanks for emails, guys. We've got loads to get through. We're going to do a few now. We'll do lots later on. Keep sending them in because I promise we'll make the last hour jam-packed full.
Here we go. It's collision time.
All in with Queen 9.
Pair of threes against Queen 9. Got a flush draw now. And there it is.
What a stupid game. I mean, seriously, when they turn the cards over, they should just give the money to month pars. I mean, Queen 9.
Ace 4 deuce. Monthall's hit the straight with the 3 to keep this sit and go going. Just a tease, Nick.
I'll tell you what, I'm looking around for other things to do, I've got to be honest.
You can't eat any more cake.
I'm going on holiday. Sold it, I'm only an hour early.
Month is all in there.
The drama.
9 Queen 10 needs a jack for a straight, but is winning anyway at the moment.
Bet the lot's got the straight.
But look at that, he's got the straight. 7, 8, 9, 10 jack.
Hooray!
And
Hooray.
Bet the lot has got the lot.
Bet the lot won.
He's got 50% of the prize money.
Well, I think we've all learned something there.
Well, I hope we have.
That Nick can't play sit and go.
Very briefly, it was a good little thing we saw from there. The funny thing is, we saw you with this lovely situation where all of a sudden you've got a pair of kings,
yeah,
and you're able to re-raise all in. But of course, you know that this is going to be a showdown.
Yeah.
You end up against the ace jack and the pair of tens.
Sure.
However,
there is no God.
However, there's only a certain percentage of the time you're going to win this encounter.
Yeah.
Whereas maybe that time where we think possibly you missed a situation, there's a chance that you could have got by there, no showdown. And when the blinds are so big, 320, 640, 960 chips, possibly with no encounter, it just becomes so massive.
Yeah.
And I think those situations are even stronger than we think.
Yeah.
And that's just a little endorsement. I liked a lot of the plays you did, though.
Ah, yes.
You want to hear that bit?
Yes, me too.
I
No,
especially liked
Yes.
the one where there was the weak bet,
Yes.
which you just called. You waited to see the check, and
Well, in all seriousness, that's an illustration. That right there, that half an hour of poker is an illustration of why I don't particularly play sit and goes. Because I like, no seriously,
Yeah, go on.
I like having chips where I can manoeuvre people. I like the psychological aspect of the game. I like making plays on people where I think I can find weakness.
yes,
I don't like the big blind, two-card poker, mathematical, you know, I don't like that side of the game as much. I'm not as good at it, and I openly admit that.
Right.
And for my profit and my bankroll, I don't play sit and goes particularly.
right,
I might play one if I've got an hour and I want to play some tournament
Right.
poker. But I'm more than happy to admit it's not my strong suit. And I definitely missed a bet at the end. And the other interesting thing was I misplayed the ace-king. And in those sit and goes, it's interesting how if you misplay one hand early on, that can massively disadvantage you. I mean, I came back, but that doesn't change the fact that I put myself at a huge disadvantage in the sit and go early on.
right. Well, the very nature of it is because we only start with so many chips, and it's a fast time structure, even though this is the longer structure. One mistake, of course, of any pot that size is very significant.
Yeah.
Very significant.
Absolutely.
So we're going to feel them. They're going to hurt.
Well, I
think
hope
it did
you
hurt.
enjoyed that. It did hurt, yeah, just in the shin, which is the part of the human body where the bone is closest to the skin. Handy if you're assailed by an attacker. Now, I hope you learned something from that sit and go, from my good and bad play. Feel free to email on it if you're in it or if you watched it or when you saw the TV, if you disagree with anything we've said. poker@pokernightllive.co.uk. I've got a hatful. I feel like Santa with his request list of emails. So when we come back, we're going to do about 1 billion of them, roughly. If you've sent one in, stay tuned. Keep sending them. We select on quality, not order of input. We'll see you very soon, guys, for more poker fun. Hello, everyone. This is Poker Night Live. I was just leaving a gap for you to answer. That's what I do with the TV.
Hello.
Yeah. Poker Night Live on a Monday night, Tuesday morning. My last hour of Poker Night Live.
Ever?
Not ever for a month, unless I really mess up. Unless I throw cake everywhere. Could happen. Thanks for your emails, guys. Fantabulous response. Well played. Keep them coming. I love email. I'll probably take some on holiday with me and just answer them to like the sea. Just because that's all I can do. This is from Caesar76. So I think played this hand in the cash game while I was busy blowing off chips and beat the presenter. He folded ace-king to ace-10. Hi, Nick and James. As soon as I hit the fold button, I was almost sure I'd made a mistake. That feeling is bad. However, it did look to me that my opponent had hit trips. Do you remember this hand,
Yeah,
James?
I do, yeah.
Because I obviously wasn't watching.
I do.
I've been in this situation many times before, and it seems like they've always hit trips when they just call pre-flop and are prepared to go all in on the flop. Am I just being too scared of the trips? Fear the trips, always. Or is there at least some logic in my thinking? Don't know, didn't see the hand. Let's go to a man who did.
Well, the problem was that you actually checked. You know, you've got the ace-king, you've hit the ace on the flop, and you've actually checked.
So can we just rewind a sec for those of us who were...
Yes, he was there with the ace-king, and his opponent was actually behind him with the ace-10.
So you raised pre-flop?
Yes, it was re-raised. He raised pre-flop, and it was called by the ace-10.
Right.
Now the flop's come, you've hit the ace. Unless you were going to sort of re-raise your opponent, I can't see any real reason here why you're going to be checking here. So if you're checking to be deceptive, but the problem is I think you've actually, in the end here, if you're already worried about people calling your pre-flop raises, I think you've just fooled yourself. I think you just need to find out where you are. And I think not to be too clever and just bet. You could well have someone there with an ace and the queen kicker or something, might just go and pay you off anyway. So I just think you bet out there. Now it's far harder for the person to be putting that re-raise in, trying to represent something else, because they're worried about you. So if I remember that rightly, you just didn't bet there, and now you just didn't quite know where you were. And you suddenly had all these horrible thoughts about trips, etc., etc.
Generally, playing with a little bit too much fear, not quite enough aggression, we think.
Well, yes, I don't quite know what it was about. I just think when you're out of position, I mean, we have to suffer so many times when we re-raise pre-flop, and then we've missed the flop, and we think, well, we've got to try and do something here and put a continuity bet in or whatever. Here you've had the luxury that you've actually hit the flop smack bang, you've hit the top pair with the top kicker. You're out of position, so I don't think you need to... If I'm going to be tricky there and check it, it's because I'm going to be re-raising the guy when he bets. I'm not doing it for any other reason. So, but I'd be quite happy just betting out there. And I'll tell you why. Because the follow-up is, if you are known to say raise with ace-king, hit the flop, and bet when you hit the ace, what it does is it makes continuity bets for you in the future far more feasible. Because they say, this person bets out when he hits the flop.
I think the other option is to check raise.
Yes.
And I would do that maybe 30% of the time to mix things up. The only thing that I wouldn't ever do is check call. I would never do that.
Right.
Never do that. Because of everything
now you just don't know where you are. Yeah.
Everything that James has just said. Sometimes it's good to check raise because sometimes you want to keep them off balance, particularly if you're missing a lot with ace king or something like that. You don't want them to think that they can always raise your continuation bets and you throw it away, which will happen sometimes.
But I think in the end,
you've got to show one of the two ways. You've got to show some aggression.
I think it actually, with the ace-king, you're just actually causing you quite a few problems just by checking it in a way. Because, listen, the guy might suddenly hit his second pair on the turn. You don't even recognise it if he's really got a bad kicker. So horrible. I would actually just, as I said, it's the plus point is it helps you with continuity bets anyway. And if they pass, so what? It's raised pre-flop anyway. You've won quite a nice little bit of money anyway.
Okay, that's plenty for Caesar. We've got to be like this with emails. Okay. It's mad. It's mad, James.
Fair,
it's mental. Email from Pompey fan. Pompey fan who will get his emails read out forevermore and before everyone else. Hi Nick, glad you like the cake, and that's why. Come and play in the Welsh Masters in Swansea at the Grosvenor Casino on the 7th to 10th of September. Not in my holiday. I'll be back working. I'm just off for August, unfortunately. James is writing it down though. It's a £1,000 buy-in. Also, that's a bit big for me. I like about £300 buy-in would be my big buy-in. I think for a £1,000 buy-in, I think you need don't know, 60, 70,000 pound bankroll to be playing those tournaments regularly. But if I wasn't working, I would check it out, especially if they're satellite. So there are other events as well. I will check it out. I'm going on to watch and see if it would be a good tournament to play next year if I can build up a big enough bankroll. But if you want to stake me for this year, I'd more than happily play. You bought me a cake, not a car. Thanks for the offload, Pompey fan. Email preferential with me, and probably the rest of the team, to be honest. Welsh Open, fancy it, James?
Oh, well, I'll certainly check it out to see what they've got on offer.
See what they've got on offer?
Well, what tournaments?
Bit of poker.
All right. But
Bit of poker.
what the other events are?
There was another one in August, actually, someone said in the chat box. Guys, if there are events in August, me being on holiday is a good excuse for you to publicise them and get your local card room a shout out on air. Chelsea 2005 is playing in my sit and go, says, controversially, James, I believe that Nick made the correct move on Beat the Presenter. I'm already starting to like you, Chelsea. By folding the ace-2 and ace-3 as there are two short stacks after him that were likely to play. Now, that is why I folded them, but I'm told I was wrong. If Nick had gone, then he was more likely to get a call, as he had made this decision on the two hands before. Any merit in that argument, James, or is it bunkum, hokum and balls?
Well, no, there's a little bit of a merit in it, but in a short-handed situation there's quite a high likelihood that your ace is going to be the best hand anyway. So if they do call, they could be calling you with the worst hand. If they're short-stacked and got less than you, then you don't lose all your chips anyway.
Yeah.
So you've still got another life next time. So the short stack isn't your biggest problem. Your biggest problem is the guy who's got you covered and takes away your tournament life from you.
Yeah, interesting stuff. Hoofy has emailed and says, great show. He's right. Sorry, thanks, Hoofy. See, it's because I'm going on holiday, I'm getting complacent, so I need a little break. In response to your plea, it's not a plea, a question. There's an interesting one, James. He says, when I play MTTs, I feel good when I've got more than 25 big blinds. He knows how to play a big stack. And all right when I've got 10 big blinds or fewer, because he feels he knows how to play a short stack. But he finds it difficult to know what to do with in the mid-range, in the 10 to 25 big blind range. Apart from obvious hands to play, should I be playing marginal hands like ace-10 or 6-6 from earlier position, or very marginal hands such as ace-4, 6-7 or any old toss from late position? Or should I be doing something else entirely? I'm just going to have a quick crack before I let James answer it properly. One thing I would say is, Hoofy, stop thinking just in terms of starting cards.
I'm glad you said that.
Your thinking's too narrow to what cards you should be playing. I think tournaments are about opportunities, and I want you to start looking for opportunities to build chips when you've got that range of big blinds. What do you think, James? I
think that's a super answer. I was actually just thinking when you read out the email there, definitely, it's a matter of looking for situations. A lot of in tournaments, you're looking who's very tight with their blinds, etc. See an opening. Yes, I think I could take that down. It's not particularly what hands you've got. If it was a situation which needs a hand, well, those hands you mentioned would be kicked out anyway because they're just ace-4s and stuff, so just troublesome. But the position, I could make it with a far worse hand than that. You're looking for situations. Start looking for situations when you've got a little bit of room to manoeuvre.
Yeah, and also, it sounds horrible, but target players. Target players that you think you can move off hands. Target people you think you can steal blinds, you can take away pots on the flop from. So, you know, opportunities in terms of cards and position and chips and so on, but also players. Who's playing scared? Who wants to just creep into the money? These are things you should be constantly assessing, and that's how you can go up an extra level as a tournament player, I think, Hoofy. Lots more emails. We'll do some over the top of the MTT. Keep them coming in, guys. We'll get through plenty more. Try and get through all of them. Doesn't look likely, but we'll try. If you still want to send one in, we select on quality, not on order of, what's the word, coming in. Poker Night Live ago, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Or why not text? We last had a text in 1994, but we put it up on screen because we're nothing if not triers. Here's the MTT, or what's left of it, the highlights, the end game. We're on the bubble, apparently. We got started off with 38 runners. This is the Poker Night Live Members League, so you can only play in it if you're a member. That speaks for itself. And 5 players are playing. This is a great opportunity for you to get involved in the Poker Night Live community. Simply go to the forums on the Poker Night Live website, pokernightlive.co.uk, and get involved. You can play this tournament in which the site has added $300, and it's only $5 to buy into those fantastic added value. We're down to 6 players. James?
Yes, one important thing to remember is that Nick is interested in quality, not in uki, which is order of coming in, of course.
Yeah, nice, if slightly mental, an acronym. So
Some
here
people
we
like
are.
uki.
Interesting situation. We're on the bubble.
Aha.
We're on the bubble, and for some of these players, or for three of these players, sorry, they're going to be involved in some marginal decisions. Thickhead
Right.
sees his pair, his aces, in he goes, no fear.
So what's Nick saying, for anyone who just joined the show doesn't know too much, is there are 5 prizes and 6 players. And of course it's the short stacks who've got to make the decisions. We've got 2 chunky stacks, which is Clev and Crespo. In fact, the other 4 are all much of a muchness. Blind 600, 1200. And this is really rattling by here, isn't it? And Clev there. Whoa, look at all in. No, put the pressure on Hoofy there. Pair of 6s. Done it again. Press the all-in button. And he knows that these people just have to commit their tournaments by calling, taking advantage of that and scooping up 1,800 from the strugglers. The straggling strugglers don't like to pay it. Chupa, a bit worried about Clay's non-stop aggression, puts down sort of quite a respectable hand. But I don't think he'll put that down.
Manna from heaven for Stantas.
He's got the Nick Wealthall suited ace-king.
Stantas thinks he's in clover here, but he's actually in a close situation. Not anymore. Great flop for him.
Well, he is in clover. He was a good favourite, but unfortunately on the river, Stantas got King Kong.
Oh!
Went Stantas.
Bubbled.
Bubbled. Stantas, bubble boy. Unlucky, mate.
Not much you can do about that.
Found a quality hand.
Oh, now everyone wants to play. Now they've made the money.
And that's the most annoying bit, isn't it? 1, when you've just been knocked out and everyone wants to do a deal.
Yeah, that happened to my sister the other day. She was so upset I gave her some of my prize money.
Where was that?
I was in Newcastle about 3 or 4 months ago,
Oh, your sister. Oh, all right.
and we both made the final table, and she got knocked out. She got some prize money, but not very much. And then
Okay.
once she was knocked out, everyone did a deal. Which, it just happens, doesn't it? It does happen.
But she felt she'd been victimised.
It's her first.
she
No,
really-
not her first actually. Her second cash and multi-table tournament, but she'd never seen that done before, so she just felt a bit rub, and I explained it to her. And, yeah, Ace Queen, Ace King. I expect Ace Queen's all in here.
Oh, well, the ace queen's gone all in, as you said. Crespo's called it and hit the queen for thickhead.
There you go.
And
Only 3 to 1, not that massive an outdraw, but nice all the same. Crespo will still be mortified. It's fast and furious in the ready money round, isn't it?
certainly is. They're sort of really rattling through this at the moment.
Well, Clay's going to get raised here. Well, he doesn't, interestingly. Crespo just calls. And I think Crespo's committed to this pot, so he might as well have gone all in. Can't see him folding. So I don't like that check. He got away with it.
Ace-9 suited for Crespo.
Thick head makes a hand. Crespo's playing a little bit tight here. Just a little bit too much checking and calling.
Well, he's missed everything here. And
He can try and bluff his way out of it.
let's hope for his sake he doesn't try, because I think he'll be called.
Yeah.
And he realises this and doesn't do it. Well, it's levelled out a little bit now. Since Stantas was bubbled,
Yeah.
Everyone's loosened up. Chupa there, obviously very pleased to be in the lolly.
What's your favourite lolly, James? Me, Zoom.
Oh.
Well, very cool if there's an all-in or a big hand, but we're going to try and get through some of your emails, guys. You've been good enough to send them in. There's an interesting one from Jan Age, or Jan Arga, I suspect it is, potentially a Scandinavian viewer. Good evening. We are global. You've always been global, haven't you, James?
Yes.
Always. Greetings, departing Nick and ever-present James. I've done a year, all right? My friend at my old work many years ago used to describe the time he'd been at work as the amount of time he'd spent behind the bell, as in a reference to leprosy.
Oh.
As in living in hell, because they used to have a bell in front of them.
Oh, right.
You say, how long have you been here, Martin? You say 4 years behind the bell. Hoofy's going to be all in with the nines. Chupper has to call, really. He doesn't. Hoofy hits the set. Delighted with that. And Chupper, crippled.
If we were behind the bell here, it would be Christmas belled, because we like it so much.
Yeah, we do. I will miss it. I'll definitely miss it. I absolutely love doing the show. I wanted to get your views about a situation I often encounter in tournament play, and Chipper's going to call there, isn't he? So I'm never not going to get an email out. These boys are playing so fast.
Yeah, I know, they're rattling through it here.
Oh, he can get out. 7 or a spade. No, sir. Chipper finishes 5th and takes away $55, I believe. $58.80 for a $5 buy-in.
Good return.
Not too bad.
Not too shabby. And Clay, sorry, just makes up the blind. Has hit the ace, 2 pairs. I don't have any more action here. Yeah, go on.
It's a situation he offers encounters in tournament play, and it's whether or not to try and double up on a hand relatively early on when there's every chance you're in a coin flip situation. The classic case is opening with a raise with ace-king and being re-raised behind you. Do you move in and hope for some fold equity, accepting your 50-50 if you get called? This argument does assume fold equity and being called with aces and kings, and I think it balances out. I play mostly in small buy-in tourneys, which obviously isn't important, which can have a lot of runners but not much time to play. Given you'll probably find yourself pushing later in tournaments with much worse hands to steal the blinds, interesting point. Do you feel it's worth taking this kind of risk for the benefits of a large stack early in a big field? I think that is a very interesting email.
It is a very interesting. But he is saying it's a rebuy tournament.
No, he doesn't say that.
He didn't say that?
No, he said small buy-ins.
Oh,
he didn't say rebuys.
Okay, okay.
I think we should assume it isn't, because that makes it a much more
that makes it a much better question.
clearer discussion. Interesting question.
In a freeze-out, I think it's totally incorrect.
And please explain why, Mr. Bradley.
Because if anyone is prepared to put all their chips in a pre-flop, in a freeze-out, the likelihood is that you are underdog with your ace-king.
If that's true, I think you're absolutely right. It's incorrect. Do you think that that's necessarily true? And I know you're not a man that's as familiar with these as if you ever were. But if you're playing in a very small tournament where players play much faster and there aren't many chips to play with, do you think that argument still holds up?
Right. Initially, I'm thinking of sort of like a freeze-out, which generally the freeze-outs are sort of like live freeze-outs, sort of produce people who are trying to play decent poker.
Yeah.
Generally.
Oh, look
because
at this. Kings for Crespo. Clay's got lots of help on the flop. I imagine Clay would bet. And now what does Crespo do?
Is he worried about the ace? He obviously is.
See, I think Crespo should lead at that flop. Oh, look, he's got lucky. I know he's got lucky, but I think he should lead at that flop because it's very difficult for him to know where he is now.
Exactly, and that's just, you've got to ask questions even.
As it is, he's got a great situation.
Yeah.
Oh, he's checked on the end.
And the thing is, he raised pre-flop, and the person there obviously thinks if you bet that you've got an ace.
Yeah.
And even an ace with a poorer kicker might put it down if you show that you like it.
Yeah. Big hand
I
for
agree with
Crespo.
you, Nick.
I think maybe if he played slightly differently, he could have got all of Clay's chips. Don't know about that.
Anyway, freeze out live. I think if people travel to a live venue to play a freeze out, generally they play quite solid poker. And I think a lot of people there will not be committing their chips with like an unmade hand if it was all in.
But what about
if it's on the internet,
yeah,
I think it's a different ball game, and I think the play might have more justification on the internet because people say, well, there's another tournament starting shortly, and they play more randomly.
What about Jan's idea that if he pushes all in, he's got some fold equity, he might make somebody fold a hand like tens or ace queen,
Yeah.
or another ace king even.
Who does he get called?
And if he gets called by somebody who isn't playing particularly well, which happens a lot in small blind tournaments, I have to say, you know, people will call. I appreciate the point you're making, but people will call with jacks or something.
Okay. Well, so he's underdog against jacks. That helps to answer it. Yeah, you get called by someone with jacks, so then he's underdog against jacks. And what does he win? Because it's the early stages, he wins nothing.
Okay, well
So I think the risk-reward ratio is completely out the window.
Okay.
And that's why I don't like it.
So let's rewind a bit and help him out specifically. He opens with a raise with ace king.
Yeah.
In one of these small tournaments, and somebody re-raises behind him. Obviously, you know, you've got to vary it depending on who you're playing against. But as a generality, what should he be thinking about? And should he just swallow the hand? Should he just throw it away? Or
I think in a freeze-out, he's probably got plenty of play there, and there's going to be far better situations for his chips.
Yeah.
And if there's still a lot of people in the tournament, every tournament, if there's a full entry of players, there's generally quite a percentage of these players who are very poor. Well, you want to be tangling in pots with these very poor players who you can move all over the place. You can win chips without any risk. Why look for some no-brain method to just press a button to try and win chips when this is a game of, you know, there's a lot of skill in poker.
Mm-hmm.
Why not utilize the skill rather than look for any quick get-rich-quick system, which I don't like.
Get-rich-quick system.
Yeah.
Asked and answered. I think if I got re-raised in a freeze-out, unless it was a big stack that I had, and I thought, you know, there's some utility in playing on, especially hate that person being behind me, you know, most of the time I'm going to throw it away.
Yeah. We spend a lot of time tonight touching on some really good subjects about trying to control the size of pots.
Yeah.
So the last thing I want to encourage people now to do is to start to try find some excuse to whack all their chips in with no hand.
Yeah.
Which is actually, ace-king is a non-made hand.
Yeah.
And if you start having coin flips, as you call it, which we've already talked about earlier, which aren't that much of a coin flip, because the ace-king against the queens, the ace-king only wins 42.5% of the time.
Yeah.
So that isn't such a coin flip anyway. That's just an excuse when you lose, oh, well, I lost this coin flip. Sounds a lot better than I lost this situation where I had a 42% chance. Because someone might say, well, you should lose it more often than you win it. And the more times, let's call them coin flips, give you the extra, the more coin flips you go into in the tournament, the harder it is to win the tournament. Because we know 3 coin flips at even money, 7-1 against to win all 3. And it carries on from there.
Yeah, moving on. Snappet's emailed back and says he's heard that his friend John, who you also knew, John,
Yes.
What was it?
Goodness, his...
John Goodness
You know-
has been knocked out.
Oh.
Apparently he got his aces cracked by King 7. Unlucky, but I bet he had a great time and I know he's very excited about it. Thanks for that, Snappet. A lot of people are going to go out of the World Series that way, aren't they? Most of the time when you go out, you're going to get hand cracked. That's the way it is. Thickheads, this could be action. Thickheads flop the flush draw and Clay's got the top pair. Does Clay want to play it? He does. Does Thickhead want to call? He does. And it doesn't come. And Thickhead betting a lot on the draw there. I guess he could have reasoned he had the ace working for him as well. It gets tough when it's this late, doesn't it, James? You have such marginal decisions to make.
Definitely. Clay, King 5 has decided to raise it up there and spot at the right time. And again, we've got the rich and poor here. We've got Clay and Crespo with the money and Thickhead and Hoofy without it. And this is troublesome times for those two because the blinds 800, 1600 is soon going to whittle them away. And Clay's just called there, wants to play a flop against Hoofy, but Hoofy's rubbing his hoofs together because he's got trip 9s.
Do we hear the patter of tiny hoofs?
Hooves, okay, Hoofy, sorry,
Hoofs.
mate.
Hoofs is funnier.
Well, Hoofy's got 12,000 now. Still in trouble, of course. each round costing him 2,400. But Thickhead, of course, is the one on the respirator. Clay doesn't give them any respite at all, cranks it up with his ace, and Hoof is re-raised with the 10s. Clay's more or less committed to this, and he's hit the ace. Unlucky Hoofy there. You had a good hand, you were against ace, he only had the 1 overcard. Not only did he hit the overcard, he hit his undercard as well, just to show how easy it was for him. You got your chips in good, but the problem is, this is actually a good example. The problem is that your tournament life was committed. Nothing, you did nothing wrong, obviously. But to endorse what I was saying before, the more times that your tournament life is committed, the harder it is to win a tournament.
Yeah.
And we have to remember that. I think quite a long time ago, I made the analogy, it's like the Grand National.
Thickhead's all in. He's about to try and jump beaches. Oh, what a beautiful flop for him. How can he lose this now? Well, he can't.
And basically the horses, every horse in the race is favourite to jump any individual fence if you gave them that one fence to jump. However, when they've got to jump more and more fences, it becomes very difficult. And that's why only a fraction of the field complete the course.
And the rest go to the glue factory. Hoofy finished in... Sorry about that. Do you know the one thing you get complaints about is jokes like that on TV?
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I do apologise. I do apologise. It's not true, by the way. It's not true.
I wonder if glue sniffers know if it's been a Grand National horse.
James, don't make it worse. I've already made a massive faux pas. Let's not dwell.
I was trying to sort of share some of the blame with you.
Hoofy finished 4th and got $88. Thank you for the solidarity. And Thickhead's played his way back into this and now has a stack which would hurt the other two, so it's more of an even tournament.
Thickhead makes it 9-6, and he's going to take this one. Well, now this battle becomes quite difficult again now, because Thickhead is just one double up from virtually taking the lead. Not quite. Ace, 3-3. And we can see that Crespo's winning with the Queen. I don't think he realises he's winning.
Quite boring though. Email from Likeyserve in London who says, Nick and James, great show as always. Good to see you both present P&L together. You are very entertaining as always. That's nice.
It is nice, isn't it?
He says, I'm right
to
comment about the beat presenter I played this evening with Nick. I didn't have many opportunities, blah, blah, blah. I decided to push all in with the ace-jack suited after Chelsea raised 4 times the big blind. Turns out she had pocket queens. I think we remember that because I had ace-king and mucked. Set of 4s for Crespo, but he doesn't get any action. Do you think it was right for me to push then? I know ace-jack suited isn't a great hand for calling, but I felt it was my only chance to double up and could be the best hand I'd see for the rest of the tournament. If I folded, I'd only face the same lottery as everyone with the huge blinds. Let me know your thoughts on this. Many thanks. He also says, thanks to John Boy Rebel for giving up his seat for Nick to sit in. Didn't actually know you'd done that, John Boy. Thank you very much for doing that and making it possible for me to play. Apologise, I didn't thank you earlier. As I said, I didn't know you'd done it. What did we think about his ace-jack suited?
Is this not the one where you had the kings?
No, it's where I had ace-king.
Oh, when you had the ace-king.
I had ace-king on the button. Chelsea raised with queens, and he called in the next seat to the queens. Different hand to the kings.
Right. How many chips did he have then?
He had about 4 times the big blind because he called and he was just about all in. Oh, kings for Clay! What a time to find them. Now he doesn't want to let Crespo hit an ace here. He raises. Does Crespo want to play? He does. Will Crespo think his 5s are good? Will he think that Clay's messing about? Well, he's leading out, which is the right thing to do. He might have the best hand. If he gets raised here by Clay, he can throw away, and he's still in good shape in the tournament. Okay, so that's where I don't like his play. Why call the raise? You're only ahead of a bluff at this point, Crespo. I don't understand the logic to your play at this point, mate. Please don't call. Please don't call. I'll cry. Don't send me away unhappy. Thank goodness for that.
Yeah, the answer to that one is quite interesting. I think I'll give it a bit of a principle for this one. With that ace-jack suited, unless you're against a pair of aces, let's discount that at the moment, you can presume you're going to have at least 30% chance in a hand with the ace-jack suited. If you, but obviously, a lot of cases, you're going to have a lot more chance than that. But on average, we're going to try and work out what your percentage chance of winning a hand against a raiser is. So the first thing we do is we look at who the raiser is to try and say what is the list of hands this person will raise with in this situation. And that will then help us to decide...
going to double up here. Sorry, James.
No, carry on.
He does. On we go.
So that is the first thing we have to think about. The next thing we have to think about, in that way we try to evaluate what percentage chance you will be winning this hand on merit against this person. The next thing we've got to look at is and say, what would happen if on my next hand, I can't quite remember where your position was on the table.
He's got one more hand to play and then he takes the big blind.
Okay, I'd say what chance if I just go all in without looking at my cards on the next hand, what percentage of the hands do I win there? I.e., first of all, with the amount of chips you've got, and this now should answer the question according to how many chips you've got in different situations, you've got to say, right, what percentage of hands will people call me with? So that's the key part there. You've got to try and evaluate what percentage of hands people call you with, i.e., so you try to list which cards the people will call you with to work out the percentage. And then, on top of that, your hand, your blind hand next time will always still have a percentage chance of winning. So you add that to the possible fold equity next time. And basically that will give you the decision what to do. So therefore it's your average percentage calling with an ace-jack, no fold equity, against playing blind even the next time with fold equity and the chance of winning a hand. More times than not, playing blind the next time will outperform that ace-jack.
Will it?
Well, what percentage of hands do people fold?
Thick head moves in with ace-10, that's probably going to be good enough.
Well, let's say they fold 30% of the time, which is not a lot. Let's make it really small. If they fold 30%, you've got 30% plus...
Yeah, but then when you move in blind and they fold 30% of the time, you're winning the blind. Whereas when you win,
yeah, but I'm making. I think, according to your stack, this fold equity goes up a lot. I think that people will fold probably more than that. I'm trying to be really pessimistic here.
Yeah.
But even 30%, you're going to outperform. And then you say you win 30% with the hand anyway.
Yeah. When
you're called. I think your ace-jack would be doing very well to be winning 55% against a raiser. I think
against Chelsea raising, you're winning about 10%.
Well, no, it'll be less than 50%, I would think.
She always has aces.
But wouldn't you think it'll be less than 50%?
Yeah.
Or call it 50% ace-jack.
Yeah, it'll be less than 50% probably.
Okay, well, let's call it 50. We'll up that one. That 50% gets
that's
defeated.
Good, James, and you've done a good analysis of that. I think we have to move on because we're a bit too deep into it.
It's an interesting subject.
Yeah, it's an interesting subject. Trying to get through some more emails for you guys. Snowblind says, hey Nick, going to miss your humour. Thank you for that, mate. It will be back. Apologies to all those that won't miss it. I believe you should come to Newcastle for a Friday or Saturday freeze out, £20 and £30 respectively. Normally get the full 100 people, and it's a cracking night out. Ask James, he'll tell you.
Definitely.
I don't doubt it for a second. Unfortunately, I'm not there on a Friday or Saturday. The blinds have gone up here.
1,000, 2,000.
1,000, 2,000. I'm there.
Who's this one from?
Snowblind.
Snowblind.
I'm there Sunday through Wednesday, so I'm going to play on Sunday and Tuesday. And maybe Monday in a cash game if there is one. Is there a cash game Monday?
There's a tournament Monday.
What's on Monday?
On tournament, I think it's £25 rebuy.
I might play that. If you do fancy it, please post on the forum under Newcastle Poker. I might well do that, but I'm there Sunday to Wednesday. He says he'll meet up with me. That's cool, mate. But unfortunately, I can't do the Friday or the Saturday as I'm somewhere else. But if you guys are in the Newcastle area, come say hello. I'll be there on Sunday. I'll be there on Tuesday.
Where else are you going to be then, just in case there's any stalkers out there, so they give them a chance?
Limited information, I think, on that.
I'll play fair, give them a chance.
I'd probably like a stalker. Depends who it is, doesn't it? Clay's the short stack now, and the pressure's on. Just looking for that hand.
Crespo.
Not going to let the short stack breathe. I do need to say a thanks on air to Double Top, who is Crespo going to call? I think he probably should. Chance to eliminate the third place player, Queen Jack. I think that's enough to call for certain.
I
Yeah,
agree.
good call. He's got about 40-something% in this hand. Doesn't happen though, and we're still 3 players. They're all battling hard. Just a big thank you on air to Double Top. He very kindly sent me the American Heads Up tournament, which was on NBC recently.
Oh, right.
Which is cracking. All the top names playing Heads Up.
What was that on DVD?
Yes. Good, wasn't it? Anyone wants to send me any DVDs of poker, they are more than welcome. Gratefully received. Very kind, Old Top. Thank you for that. Craig would like some, I guess, just the headlines here, James,
Okay.
because it's a potentially big subject. He plays No Limit Hold'em, but he'd like to play Pot Limit. He said, I've noticed there are a lot more players seeing flops, and it's harder to get people out of the pot. Any general advice on Pot Limit? Well, obviously that's true, Craig, because you can only bet the size of the pot, for those of you who haven't played it, as the name suggests. So it's harder to protect your hands pre-flop, isn't it?
It is, and so if you've got a sort of a quality hand, it is more reason to raise pre-flop with them, because you're now increasing the size of the pot, which you might want to use later on to either win lots of money with, or to make your opponents decide not to play anymore. So you actually control the size of the pot even more in Pot Limit. In No Limit, however much you try to control the size of the pot, your opponent, of course, could then just say all in. So all your efforts to control it could be defeated. But in Pot Limit, you really have full control.
I think Pot Limit is a slightly harder game to play well.
I think it's a great game. I think that somewhere along the line, I think we are going to see a slight twist in tournament structure somewhere along the line to try and put a bit more play back into games.
Yeah, we might. Well,
Not straight away,
all in
because at the
here,
moment
and
it's still
Crespo
exciting.
hits. He had the straight draw, and sorry to talk across you, James. We've lost our man Ilky. Clay, sorry. I don't know why I've just called you Ilky. In third place. Sorry about that, James.
That's all right.
Third, $117. Well played, Clay.
I don't think that'll happen for quite a while, though, because at the moment, No Limit Hold'em is still very exciting. We've got the biggest turnout ever for the World Series.
Well, it's TV, isn't it? I mean, it's so easy to understand what's happening, and it's so dramatic with the all-ins. It's difficult to top that from a TV perspective.
It is, but the thing is, as more and more people start to understand poker to a greater level,
Right.
then it opens a window of opportunity for people to produce a tournament with perhaps even more play in it, because there'd be more people out there who would appreciate it.
Yeah.
And would appreciate the plays they saw.
Yeah.
And personally, I think that somewhere along the line there, it could actually even be something near a half-pot tournament, but I don't know how long it would take for people to be able to know enough to understand that. But that would certainly be quite skillful.
Both players have the same hand here, and Thickhead might push Crespo off it. He does, look at that.
Right, he pushed out straight away, and Crespo didn't want to be on the draw hand.
Nice play from Thickhead, I approve.
And they're rattling along here, no dwelling up here by these guys.
Pump that semi-bluff.
Pump it. There's the...
Well, Thickhead's been playing aggressively, and Crespo's trying to entice him in here.
Check, check. He's going to do it again. You tried everything, but now you're going to put minimum bet in, are you? Oh, no.
No action from the Thickster. The Thickmeister General. Thicky! Sir Thicks-a-lot. Thickamemnon. Thickitude. Thickathon. It's not me.
Thicky Dicky.
Oh, he's encouraged it. Thicktastic. Thicktabulous. Thickalackalnuchanunu. Sorry. Look, I'm going on holiday in 10 minutes. It's hard for me to care.
Perhaps you should better go in 5.
Yeah, I think that's best. Ofcom probably watching, aren't they?
Oh, goodness. Crespo there, hovering near the 100. He's in the nervous 90s.
It's the UK Open in Luton in August.
It is.
Are you playing?
I'd love to, but I'm actually taking my son on holiday, which would be great anyway.
Full house.
Full house for Crespo. He's going to break the 100 grand.
No action.
There it is.
That's one of those situations, actually,
106.
where an alternative play for Crespo there is to make a bigger bet and make it look like a bluff.
Yep. Oh, there's a bigger hand. And no action.
frustrating.
Thickhead's really gnashing his teeth now. How can I get aces and not get a shilling hardly?
I like the way Thickhead's playing. He's patient but not afraid, which is how you have to play the short stack. But obviously the odds are against him. Although if we can win a double through, suddenly we'd have a tournament on our hands.
Well, here we go.
Oh, that's a horrible flop for Thickhead. He's going to get trapped here.
Crespo's got the top pair.
Yeah, he's going to get trapped.
Yeah. Well,
Ace or a 9, says Thickhead.
not
Please,
there.
baby Jesus. Baby Jesus has left the building, and so has Thickhead.
Thickhead hit the 9 there. He had the second pair. Heads up, he thought, that's enough. I've got 9 with an ace kicker. Hard to blame him, really. He did have a hand.
Oh, no, that's a big hand heads up, isn't it?
He had some escapes if his opponent had the queen. His opponent did have the queen, but he didn't hit their escapes. Anyway, that was very lively. I must compliment you on the speed you played there, which made it exciting TV.
Good speed. Speed impresses us.
Well, it impressed me.
Impressed me.
Impresses both.
Still time to get your emails. There isn't. There's no time to get your emails in. Give up. Give
You
up.
fibbed.
Yeah, I fibbed. Double Top writes, hello Double Top, before mentioned, thanks publicly. I was all in, this is a bad beat. Can't believe it. He's had a bad beat.
He sent you a DVD, you've got to read it.
I'm not reading the bad beat, I'll read the rest of it.
Well, you have to.
Poker sometimes does your head in. I'm halfway through a book from 2+2 called Inside the Poker Mind. That's John Feeney's book. It's a very good book, especially if you were... Double Top, I'd have thought, is probably ripe to read it. You want to have the basics down and then read that book. It's interesting. If anyone could see my mind at the moment, it would be a messy world. We've all been there, mate. Have a great holiday, Nick. If I was you, I'd spend a month on the Greek islands, not even think of poker. What are you talking about? Get a job renting out deck chairs. Plenty of females to chat up. I'm not qualified to get a job renting deck chairs. They wouldn't take me. Maybe chat up the females anyway, if that's all right. Thanks for that, Double Top. Michael writes in and says, can you suggest a few poker books you think may help my poker? I know you get asked this all the time, but I've never read a book. My teachers, you guys, taught me all I know. You're in serious trouble. We'll suggest some books in a sec. I've been playing sit and goes and MTTs for a year quite successfully and recently began playing cash. I consider myself a tight aggressive player. What strategy would you say is most suited to cash games? Right, those are two big questions. You can't have both answered. So I'm going to throw it to James. He's only allowed to answer one. James, you can either recommend some books or give some general advice on cash play, whichever you prefer. Freestyle it.
You choose.
Give some advice on cash play.
Okay, tight aggressive is a winning strategy for cash play. You could play in a 10-seater ring game and just play tight aggressive on the internet, for example, and I would say this is going to be, you will end up a winning player. You will not end up to be the biggest winning player, because to be the biggest winner, then you probably need to have a little bit more ammunition, a few more weapons, and be very aware of your opponents, their play, etc. Take advantage of position, vary the hands you raise with. In that case, you will then get paid off in a bigger style when you hit a lovely flop. But beginners, tight aggressive would be the only way to go to start with, and just keep on watching and learning, and you'll know when you're ready to experiment a bit more.
Yeah. Continuation bets as well is a.
Oh yes, I mean, I think
if you raise before the flop, usually, unless you get about 5 callers and it's a horrible flop for you, usually you should bet after the flop. And then if you get a caller or you get raised, take it from there, depending on your hand.
I would say against a maximum of 2 people. More than 2 people, forget the continuation bet.
Yeah, I think that's right, yeah. And as it's holiday time and feeling generous, poker books if you want to play cash games and you understand the basics, then go and get the new cash game book by Slansky, although it is quite a hard read. Super System for No Limit Hold'em, I still believe, is a great book to read.
Slansky's Theory of Poker.
Slansky's Theory of Poker you should definitely read. Good shout. And Harrington on Hold'em for tournaments. I think all of those are published by 2+2 Publishing, you know.
Book of Bluffs by Matt Lessinger. I had someone who read this book after I recommended it about a week ago, and they emailed in saying it was the best book they'd ever read.
Really?
Yep.
I still haven't read it. Because every time I go to order some books, I go, what's the book that James recommended?
You're going to have to go and order it now.
We've got an email from Scott, who's a sicko. Scott, you're a sicko.
Oh.
You'll find out why in a sec. He says, hi guys, great show, thank God it's Nick's last night. No, I was just kidding, that's not why you're sick, that's quite funny. Great play from Johan earlier in the cash game with 10-10 versus Queen-Queen. I wanted to ask, do you think Johan's becoming an easy player to play against because he either bluffs a small pot or loses a big pot? All you need to do is put in a weak bet and he'll come over the top. And then you've got him. What do you guys think? I think that you're trying to wind up Johan. I'll get James' thoughts in a second. Here's the sick bit. I'm a massive fan of James Browning, and on my site I have a picture of him as my pick, and my screen name on the site is PNL843. I love the show. Loving the show is fine. Having a picture of James Browning on your computer is weird. All right? Yes, I've got one. We all have here at PNL. But for you to do it is odd. Scott, I'm glad you love the show. That's great. Is that a fair criticism of Johan, or is that Scott being a little bit naughty?
I actually think that Johan, we didn't see him at his best in that cash game tonight.
I didn't see it, obviously, so...
I think tonight he overplayed some hands there. I think if you think that you've got Johan worked out, though, that would be the wrong... You'd be in trouble, because he's well capable of changing his game again. But yes, he does. That is quite a good way to do it. You can actually mimic the fact that you're a little bit weak, and he's probably going to come over the top of you. Tonight, when he still stayed committed to the pot, I found it a bit strange, because normally I praise Johan because he is so able to pass hands as well as the other plays he makes. I think tonight he wasn't at his best, but overall I think he plays incredibly well.
I think Johan's also capable of playing loose on TV as some advertising.
He's
I think he's
smart,
also
yes.
capable of that.
Yes.
We've got a quick one from Han Yan, which I wanted to read out just because he's a new emailer, I think. He says, love the show, try to watch it every night. Thanks for the email, mate. He wants to know what tilting is. He's heard it used quite a bit, doesn't know what it means. Well, it's something that, as professionals, we never do. No, we try not to do it. It's when you go emotionally off the rail. So you're angry, you're upset, you're resentful, and it affects your future play. So you kind of try and force the game. It's like a kind of madness, isn't it, James?
Yes.
You last tilted in 1952, didn't you? This is a man whose poker brain is too rational for the concept to even enter it.
It actually amusingly came from, of course, the flipper machines, where if you banged them too much, they went on tilt.
That's right. You're pingy pong, not ping pong. Pinball.
Pinball, flipper machines, yeah, pinball.
I think I've reached the end of my useful tenure here at Poker Night Live.
You're
guys,
going on holiday.
I'm going on holiday. Just get the old... No, don't worry. Have a great month without me. Keep the other presenters stoked full of emails and keep watching. I know you will. James, it's been great.
I enjoyed tonight. It was super.
It's good. We had lots of good stuff.
I hope we did, I think. And you had plenty of chocolate cake.
Well, that's very important, isn't it? Thank you, Pompey fan. Thanks, everyone. I'll see you in September. James will see you very, very soon. And there'll be another Poker Night Live tomorrow night. When are you next on?
Later in the week.
Later in the week.
Friday.
Keep you on your toes. See you all soon. Ta-ta.